Welcome to O'Sullivan Beach, Lonsdale. They'll be hosting the Hackham Hawks today, and we got an exciting Indigenous match to come through with this afternoon. It's a huge day on the Indigenous calendar and the calendar for the Adelaide Footy League in general. Uncharacteristically a little bit hot for June, but still, we've got the big men out here, not physically speaking, metaphorically speaking, and I'm very proud to be joined by one of the best of them. Tony Neal, welcome.
Thank you, Indy. Actually, reconciliation round, mate. They've marked the ground down here. They've done that through the week. We've got some interviews with players that have painted their own boots today. We've got interviews with coaches. It's a huge day down here. We've done it for the last 3 years. Cannot wait. And the two teams have got together, O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale and Hackham. This is going to be an absolute belter.
Without a doubt, the excellent harmonisation that they provide for events like this is really nice, and obviously we love to be part of these, and we're very privileged to be part of these Indigenous related events because they just put so much time and effort into them. And I'll tell you what, the groundskeeping looks really good as well. Take a look at that. Not a mud patch inside.
No, absolutely fantastic out here. As you said, good weather, so it augurs for a great game of footy. One thing I'll be watching is the fatigue, you know, because if they dehydrate, they'll start to fatigue. So talking with the coaches before, a couple of the players weren't too happy about it. I said, well, would you rather play in the wet and cold and rain? So they're looking forward to great conditions. A fantastic game of football ahead of us, Indy.
Yeah, definitely. A bit of overcast looms, but the sun's still peeking through our brave eyes at the moment, so I can already see a couple of tears coming through, Tony. So we're not going to try and put him through too much pain. We're going to go to an ad break, but right after that, we've got interviews with our very lucky coaches.
Nine News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on, or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with two graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
It's an uncharacteristically warm winter's day here, but at the same time, it's good to have supernatural conditions for a superb day on the football calendar, especially for the Div 7 Adelaide Footy League calendar. And I'm privileged to be joined by each of the coaches for today's fantastic match. On the left of me, Michael Dean of O'Sullivan Beach, Lonsdale, and on the right of me, Hackham's very own, Glenn Rowe. So it's great to have you boys, and I wanted to just ask a couple of questions because already O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale looking really good at the moment. They're in the 5. Still a couple of fair wave percentage in games off of the very best teams, but you'd be feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, things are going okay so far. We came at the start of the year and brought a heap of kids in, and you know, we're playing most weeks with only half a dozen guys over 25 and just a lot of run, and the kids are going well, so it's been good.
And only 2 wins behind on the ladder, the Hackham Hawks. Well, right now, let's say this, the one game that you have won, you scored 100 plus points in that match, and a lot of the other matches you've lost, you've conceded those triple point ledgers. So I just wanted to get a feel, what's the main focus of today?
Well, the main focus is our style of play, putting that on the park, and I think the games where we've conceded more than 100 points, we haven't been able to do that, and we've sort of let ourselves down in that area. And yeah, that's so just our game style, and it sort of should see us through.
Well, both of these teams have been privileged with some very fantastic individual performances. 37 goals kicked between Austin Worse and Trevor Rigney for O'Sullivan Beach. Can you tell me a little bit about those boys and how they work together in their chemistry?
Well, Trev's a freak. He's pushing 40 now, and he still takes hangers every week and does the things. He's just loving putting back into the club where he started as a kid. I think he won an A-grade best and fairest here at 16. And he's been around the traps. He's now kicked over 1,100 A-grade goals in his career, so played in a fair few premierships, and hopefully we can eventually get another one for him before he decides to hang up the boots. And Austin's come over from Noarlunga this year with pretty big raps, played mainly 2s at Noarlunga, still a young fella. He's come in and he's been really good, gives us a good target down forward, and he doesn't miss. Like, he has 4 kicks a goal, he's probably kicking 4 goals each week, so he's just such a nice kick, so it's always a bonus to have them. And they're still learning how to gel together. They get in each other's way a little bit, and they're still learning, but we're 5 games in or 6 games in, so it's going to take time to get these guys gelling, but yeah, it's good.
Thank you very much, Michael Dean. And one more question for you, Rowe, because Luke Allen, right now, he's a top 3 player in the competition. He's got 5 best performance individual games so far this year. What can you tell me about him and expecting his movement going forward?
He's just a bit like Rigney. He's a bit of a freak, you know. He's been around the club for 6 or 7 years now, and really been like the heart of the core in the group. And I think if you look back, 2 years ago he was 3rd in our first year in the Adelaide Footy League. He was 3rd in Div 7 in the medal. Last year was 2nd. So, you know, he's on form. He's on track to what he would normally do. But for him, he's really fit and strong this year. So yeah, go on well.
All right, thank you very much, Michael, and you too, Rowie. Thank you very much, and good luck for the day ahead. Celebrations about to commence in the middle of the ground. We're just getting a bit of a perspective over here. It's going to be a long ceremony, this one, but it's a fantastic ceremony nonetheless, and it's worth every second of it, isn't it, Tony?
It's a fantastic thing. It's very moving, sensational effort that O'Sullivan's Beach gone down here, and Hackham have come together with them, and we can see the players all up there together. And of course the OSB Lonsdale Reserves had a very big win, 24-21 to 3 goals, 3. And there's Isaac there. He's doing the smoking ceremony and also plays the Yidaki, which is a very moving time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is about the 8th year they've done it now consecutively, across from the Southern Football League through to the Adelaide Footy League when both teams entered. They've actually been doing this for 8 years, since 2015, I believe. So it's a very significant thing for both the clubs. And while O'Sullivan Beach is the ultimate host, you could definitely say Hackham is a very welcome guest here, and all guests welcome to this game without a doubt. I reckon we're about to go to the ceremonies now as Hackham make their way over. We're going to get a perspective of things.
Football Club, Southern Lonsdale Football Club, sorry. Numani, and welcome to round 7, reconciliation round of the South. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region, and their cultural and heritage beliefs are still important to the living Kaurna people today. We also pay respects to their cultural authority and Aboriginal people visiting and attending from other areas of South Australia and Australia. What a day for football, good weather. This is what it's all about. Football, reconciliation, it looks good. If you just look from where we are standing from, it looks fantastic. First of all, I'd like to welcome Isaac Hammond to commence and welcome us to country. Thank you.
Namarni, Nanarioza Kutnuichanum, Natangi Wulta, Ghana, Nanjari Mio. Marta Changa Ghana Myrna, Nawangandi, Marnina Putni. Nalaku, Yartana, Marni Nadlo Tampanthi, Nadlo. Ghana Yartanga Tikanthi, Nachalia. Nanjari Pakamuthno, Kurong Warang Bengali Nopan. Mama Kyongo. Hey everyone, my name is Isaac. I'm a proud Ghana and Nanjari man. I just want to thank you all for having me here today, inviting me here to practice and provide welcome to country today. I just really want to firstly acknowledge the elders in this space today and pay my respects. You can see my uncle Russ Miller out here today. I really want to pay my respects to him, and I'm sure there's some other elders here today. I really want to pay my respects to you as well, and it's deadly to be here today, providing this welcome to country and the blessing ceremony. Firstly, I just want to acknowledge the elders again, especially my nana, Margaret Brosnahan. She's passed, but I do want to acknowledge her and thank her for the knowledge she's passed on to me, keeping me and culture embedded in everything that I do since I was a young boy. I also want to acknowledge the ancestors. Not only my ancestors, but your ancestors. I invite them into this space today to take care of us during our journeys and travels here on Kaurna country. Or as I said before, Nanjari Pakamuthno Kurong Waranga Bengali Nop, and just asking any bad spirits to leave. One time I said that at a big function somewhere, and some fella just got up and left. I thought, fair enough, you know, it worked. But it's deadly to be here, and as part of the Reconciliation Week, it's really good to be here today as well. With this football club, this is where I first really started off when I was a young fella, just playing Yidaki. I was too scared to speak back then, and now to be up speaking and doing welcome to country, really it's a big honour, and to be back here with all you mob, it's real special. This is where it all really started for me, and I'd like to pay my respect to that, and pay my respects to this club as well. And the steps towards reconciliation this club has really taken, which is real deadly. So I'm really thankful to be here today as part of this. And for me, it's another thing, a full circle in life for me as well. It's just being back here. I'm really thankful. So thank you for having me here again today. It's really special. And I just want to also remember where I started here with Auntie Georgina Williams too, and pay my respects to her. And I'd like to have a moment of silence when I'm doing the smoking as well and the cleansing today. The cleansing is a really important process. What it does is it cleanses us of any bad spirits and negative energies. So I'm going to do that, and I hope that we can kind of just take some time out to just pay our respects and have a bit of a minute of silence as well. And I'm just going to go around and bless the club. Chalia, thank you. the wind picks up a little bit and this blue bush is a little bit dry. It might set on fire while I'm playing, so just, it'll be all right. It'll burn out. But that's one thing to keep in mind when we're doing this as well. Sometimes it can, and the wind can pass through it a little bit and it can really light up a bit, but no stress. Before I just start, I want to just play some Yidaki for you as well before I finish, sorry. And I do want to have a bit of a yarn about what the Yidaki means for me. I started as a young fella when I was about 4 years old, watching my uncles play, and started playing on the vacuum cleaner tube. Something I don't suggest if there's any young fellas who want to learn or play, don't play on the vacuum cleaner tube. You get big dust rings around your mouth, it's not worth it. Definitely, I started finding any kind of tube, any cylinders I could play on until I started playing on a proper wooden Yidaki. And that's what I've been playing today. Now, I said the words before, Maimak Yongle, because the Yidaki isn't traditionally from Kaurna country, it's from Yongle country. And I just want to pay my respects to the Yongle people and thank them for allowing us to play this beautiful instrument here on Kaurna country. So I'm going to play some for you now, just to finish this up and yeah, just finish part of the welcome. And yeah, thank you all again for having me. Welcome to Kaurna country in Achalia. Thank you. Too dearly, brother.
Thank you, Isaac. Absolutely fantastic once again. Thank you so much for welcoming us to country. Give it another clap, guys. Thanks. Before I want to go on to, I'd like to also acknowledge and welcome our elders and their families here today as well. I think I've got paperwork right. Also, I'd like to welcome the City of Onkaparinga Mayor, Moya Ware, and also the Minister of Sport and Rec, the Honourable Katrina Hilliard. I'd also like to acknowledge the Hackham Football Club for partnering and supporting the Solomons Beach Lonsdale Football Club in reconciliation in this year. Thank you. Now I'd like to ask the Mayor and the Honourable Katrina Hilliard to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Nina Mani, Nainari, Katrine, it's so incredibly special to be here with you all for this really important day. First of all, thank you so much, Isaac, for such a beautiful welcome to country and for your really wise and kind leadership in our community. It makes a difference to many, many people. Thank you so much. I also acknowledge that we are here together on land that always was, that is, and always will be Kaurna land. I pay my respect to Kaurna elders past and present, to Kaurna future leaders and to elders and people of other Aboriginal nations in our community. In making that acknowledgement, I thank the many generous Aboriginal leaders who generously share their 65,000 plus years of wisdom, culture and knowledge, helping all of us to learn. I also acknowledge Mayor Moira Ware, Councillor Lauren Dew, and thank you both for absolutely championing throughout the city of Onkaparinga. And I really want to acknowledge and say thank you to Anthony Bernhardt for his tireless work to bring us together today. For that, but I also thank him for his enduring leadership in our community. He does everything he possibly can to empower and amplify the voices of Aboriginal people and to lead us all toward reconciliation. Today, on this last day of Reconciliation Week, and indeed acknowledge the Aboriginal culture as the longest continuous culture in human history. And this week and every week I also reflect on some of the past and current pain, injustice, suffering and racism, and vow to do all that I can together with our community, with those feelings, with those reflections in my heart and my mind, to advance us toward true reconciliation and to have the conversations that we need to have to really make a difference and to walk us together towards a truly shared future. 56 years ago, Australian people voted for Aboriginal people to be counted. It is now time that they were heard. And as we think about that, days like today are so incredibly powerful in enabling us to get together, to talk together, to think together about what reconciliation, true reconciliation, that shared future really looks like. Sport is really powerful in bringing communities together, and today is an absolute exemplar of that. So thank you to Anthony, thank you to everyone at the O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Football Club, thank you so much to everyone at Hackham. Such an important day here at this club, here for footy, but for our whole community. Thank you so much, everyone.
Nina mana, everyone. I'm Moira Weir. I am the Mayor of Onkaparinga, and how lucky am I to be in a town which actually has a name, an Aboriginal name as the city, meaning Women's River. So I too want to pay my respects to elders past here today, so really want to remember him and amongst us, to everyone who is here in the leadership It's so fabulous to see the children running around. And in doing that, I want to acknowledge my fellow councillor, Councillor Lauren Jew, who's here with us today. And her father-in-law, I think, was the artist for the jerseys that the Lions are wearing today. I think it's a fantastic thing to know that across the generation, the theme for Reconciliation Week is a voice for generations. We are the generation that will get the chance to vote on that in a referendum not too far away. And so my parents and grandparents in 1967 were able to right the wrong. That generation voted to right that wrong in our constitution. I want to see if we can do better in my generation and get more than that. So when we say yes, when we're kicking the footy, or whether we're standing up for our community like Katrine does every single day of the year, when we have Isaac making a road for us to know what it means and what reconciliation looks like, and for people like Anthony, who is the inaugural winner of the City of Onkaparinga's Reconciliation Recognised Award, please give him another round of applause. This is the kind of leadership I know that we've got in our community, and this is the leadership that is going to drive Australia forward for us all to grow up and take another step forward in our national story. Have a fantastic day on the field. Be kind to each other as best as you possibly can. And keep up the great work here at this club, which continues to show and shine a light on what actually reconciliation means every single day, not just during Reconciliation Week. Thank you.
Thank you, Moya. And a lot of people don't know it's the first year that the City of Onkaparinga Council has jumped on board with reconciliation here at this club. So thank you so much. Just like to welcome two legends of the AFL, two Premiership players who are here at our guests today, and Troy and Sean. Come and say a word. Give them a welcome.
Yeah, first of all, as a proud Aboriginal Narungga man, me and Troy, we like to just acknowledge Anthony and thank him and the Lonsdale Football Club for inviting us out here today for such a special day. I mean, me and my brother Troy, Reconciliation Week is a very special week for Troy and myself, because our great nana, Doris May Graham, she did a lot for reconciliation back in the 50s and 60s. She's actually got a plaque in the River Torrens, which we visit regularly, and it holds a special place in our hearts. She always said to me and Troy, always treat people with respect and love, and you'll get it back tenfolds. So just good luck to both clubs today, Hackham and Lonsdale, and thanks for the invite. And yeah, play hard and enjoy Kangaroo's Drew after the game.
Yeah, I too also want to pay our respects and acknowledge the Kaurna land that we meet on today, and pay our respects to all elders here, past, present and emerging. I'd like to thank Anthony for inviting us down. It's great to be here. When me and Shane were playing AFL, we never had Indigenous round or nothing when we were back playing, so it's great that now all AFL clubs do that, but not only the AFL clubs, all footy clubs around Australia now do it, and it's just wonderful that they do it. So it was great to see that this morning. And also I've got something for Anthony. I've got a signed hope he is a Crow supporter, but the club can have. I've got a signed football here from the Adelaide Footy Club, so I'd like to donate that to the club. But I've also, for those who would like to help out, I do get some sponsorship stuff for some juniors, and also myself and Tony Modra go regularly to NAIDOC Week in Port Augusta, where we help with some sponsorship with some of the Aboriginal community stuff there. So if you're keen, come and see me. Even though they're not going too well, I started at Carlton, so I've got an Indigenous Carlton Guernsey signed by the Indigenous players there. I've also the Aboriginal Crows Guernsey signed by this current team, and we got the Port Power Guernsey signed by this current team, who are going well and got a shot at the flag this year. So if you're keen, come and see me. It'd be much appreciated for your support. Thanks again. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. I'd like to ask the captains and the respective umpires to toss the coin exchange gift, please. And also I'd like to ask our lovely mayor if you'd like to toss the coin, please. Yeah, we've got a coin. Hackham have won the toss, kicking north. Congratulations. Have a good game, fellas. And we'll see you after the game. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Another fantastic annual celebration here at O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Oval. It was just such a fantastic ceremony. And as was stated there, Hackham will be kicking to the northern and left of screen for those watching our stream today. And, well, we've got to preview these teams, Tony, because they're both in some interesting form in the Adelaide Footy League right now, Div 7. O'Sullivan in the finals, but Hackham not. What can you tell us about O'Sullivan and their recent form?
Yeah, well, just looking at their season, they've had a win, loss, win, loss, win. So 3-3 they sit. They are sitting in 5th position, so quite formidable, and I think they will push up this year because the last few seasons hasn't been successful, but they've stayed alive, if you like. The one thing I'm super impressed with down here, to be the envy of a lot of clubs, is the amount of sponsors. When you go inside and you see their sponsor board is absolutely huge. Couple of things here. We look at round 4. They had a huge win over Mawson Lakes. Round 5, they did have that the loss, and then of course in round 6. So recent form is winning form. They were 104-65 over Houghton Districts. Interesting here, Indy players to watch. Harrison Kaysler, I've had a look down our team sheet and I can't see his name on that team sheet, so that could be a very large out for them at this stage. We see Malik O'Loughlin, number 14, has been in the best player also for the last 3 games, so really in form. And the other one is Andrew Terry, number 17. He's been in there for the last 2 games. If we look at the goal scorers, everyone down here, we talk about Trevor Rigney. He's kicked 5 goals and 4 goals respectively over the last 3 games. I reckon he might have missed one. He's kicked over 1,100 goals, which is a massive effort down here. So a fantastic player to watch. So keep an eye out for number 21. However, the other guy to watch out for with the goals is young Worst. Now, Austin Worst is number 10. We can see him. He's actually quite a size here, just lining up at centre forward, having a kick around. Now, his last 3 games have produced 9, 4 and 3. So if you're a visiting team coming down and you're saying, well, we have to keep an eye on, first of all, O'Loughlin, on one is young Austin Worst as well. So we'll have a look in a moment after you've run through yours, and we'll see who we tip in regards to this game.
Yeah, well, going into this game, Hackham are 1 win and 5 losses with a percentage of 40.75. They've lost their consecutive games. 3 of those 4 losses, they've conceded 100-plus points to the competition, although they haven't lost by a triple-point ledger this year, which does prove that their defense doesn't completely blow out, but it's actually their inability to attack. They've only got 517 points for in the competition as of right now, which is the second lowest. Really the only reason they're currently bottom 2. But players, it goes without saying, Luke Allen, one of the top 3 players in the competition right now. He's been voted best player 5 times according to Play HQ, so that's a very impressive one. But also Robert O'Leary, a very important and versatile player for Hackham as well, who's gotten quite a few best performances individually this year as well. Changes, there will be no Jared Collinson in the team sheet, but we've got Adrian Hodge, Seth Hazel, James Shug and Alex Pascoe, all late inclusions for Hackham today.
So one of the things we look at is we don't worry about the division, we worry about a game of football, and I think it all augurs for a great game. Both teams, as we said, 5th and 7th on the ladder. Now we're in round 7, so they're still pushing up. Close neighbours, so there is a little bit of that rivalry. I know both it was interesting off-field, Indy, when you went to interview the coaches and when we were walking around talking to different people, the captains, they all get on quite well, which is great to see, because it is, we talk about grassroots footy, but these are the clubs down in the lower divisions, and how do they operate, how do they get by? Both got fantastic club rooms, all the memorabilia is up there. I can tell you today, we can see them in the centre of the ground there, our umpires, Doug Allgate, so he's said to say he's the good looking one, so that was interesting, and Aaron Revel. Now Aaron has also umpired the B grade, so let's just see how his movement patterns, we might keep an eye on his movement patterns throughout the game as well. The coin toss, as you alluded to, Hackham won and kicked to the left of screen as the teams are getting ready. The weather for today, it is an absolutely beautiful day down here in Adelaide, and we understand we talk about this often, there are people who watch this, you're able to stream this across Australia and worldwide. So I watched 3 games last week while on holiday in Bali. But we did watch 3 games from the Adelaide Football League, so it was fantastic to get all that with the commentary as well. But we understand some clubs, we welcome them in Queensland and Northern Territory with some affiliation to players down here. So if you're watching wherever you may be around the world and around Australia, we welcome you. Fantastic day, 23 degrees. There is no 95% chance, I would say that's zilch, Indy, no rain, and 13 kilometre gust to the left. Pretty much to the left of screen, but as we sit at the moment, Indy, quite still. Oh, the hand out the window, I like that test.
Yeah, just verifying a little bit. It's also quite warm today, as we discussed in our coaches' interviews at game introduction. Very uncharacteristic day for football in June, but a very welcome one, especially for an occasion like this. The groundskeeping is fantastic. We talk about the beautiful soil of this native land, and it really shows here. You don't get grass like this anywhere else in the world.
And the B grade score, just for those interested, OSB 24-21, 165, Hackham 3 goals, 321. So a comprehensive win now, 144-point winners to O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale. So let's have a look at what's happening in the middle. The big fella there, Trent Grosser, he's a co-captain, of course, with Adam Rigney. Adam Rigney has the Indigenous boots that he hand-painted on today. So fantastic to see that. As you can see, the camaraderie amongst the teams, all is in readiness for this big game. First bounce of the day, the umpire's going to hold that ball aloft. Timekeeper blows the siren, and we are on. What a game we are in for. Up it goes, beautiful O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale. Grosser taps it forward, that is fantastic. Through they go. Oh, nice kick down the wing, and that's another player to keep an eye on, Ryan Fitzpatrick. This way, that way, around it goes. Hackham under a bit of pressure here, just a handball over, gives it back to the opposition wingman, and that was Bevan O'Loughlin. Ball on the ground here, right in front of the half-forward flank and the coach's boxes.
Already a bit of early pressure. That was a beautiful midfield transition. Hackham get an opportunity here, though. Unsure of where to go, they decide to glue the ball to this near wing. There'll be a free kick that keeps the ball in their possession. As, just taking a look there, Sean Morris, a little slow to give it back. Kicked off by O'Leary. We talked about his importance before the game. Here's Luke Allen, the other very important on-baller. So their 2 best players combining in this passage of play. A bit of a helicopter drop punt, if you don't mind, courtesy of the wind. It was an effective one, though, and it's hit the target. Glenn Draper assesses the options, decides to go small, maybe too small. Marcus O'Loughlin has taken the intercept, but he tried to get it off to a man by hand, and that didn't work to plan either. Now off a Steph Jared Shaw, takes a ping at goal. Just 1 point. That was a bit of a stylish flick at the hand there by the goal umpire. We do have our first score of the game, though.
Yeah, so quick movement there, and they'd be happy with that, Hackham, just to get a start. Interested now what we see out of the back line with the kick-ins. I'm always loving to analyse this. They've spread very wide across here, O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale. There'd be probably 15 players all across that half-back line. He elects to go over the top. That's a nice kick into the centre and good body work by Andrew Terry, one of the better players to watch. That is pinpoint. The player just falls over there, young Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I tell you what, That is fortuitous. It bounces straight back up, and boy, oh boy, isn't he under pressure. There's a little bit of roughhouse tactics on him. They know they've done their homework, and a little bit going on there. Bit of a smile. Umpire's going to give it to him as well. So Fitzpatrick will go inside. Players spread either side of him. Lines up, kicks it right into that spot. Oh, I'll tell you what, up high was Trevor Rigney. Round the corner. Oh. Just touched on the line. I reckon that was Andrew Terry with the big kick. So ball comes in the other side. Quick movement.
Almost looked like Austin Worst touched it there when he didn't need to, or maybe it was a separate touch that resulted in just the minor score. Hackham wasting no time to try and get it through the middle, though. The Hawks like the look of something on the other side of the centre square. And here's a hard nut to refer to in Dale Johns. That's not a very good kick, so their forward conversion a little wayward early for the Hawks. The Lions a chance to respond. Some handballs through traffic. Wow. Eventually the kick by foot. Here's Fitzpatrick again. He wastes no time. Gets it off to a man handy. Taylor Hobson goes to the tip of the forward 50 arc there. Doesn't quite get it into a man's hands. It'll come to turf. The umpire will separate the pack. And we'll have a ball up just outside the forward 50 for the Lions. Still a big ball to be won here. O'Sullivan Beach under a bit of pressure. The clearance comes out there from Chaplin. It's an effective clearance too. Finds its way into the hands of a teammate. Jeremy Cross, the skipper for the Hawks today. Once again, not the most effective kick going forward. It's been spoiled over the boundary line, but at least it's in forward territory for the Hawks now, Tony.
Yeah, Wallace, long Scafidi that was, and he had a long arm there come across, so very good intercept. There's fair few players around the ball, a couple off to the back of the pack down this end, and just, well, there's 2-on-1 down in the goal square down there as they go forward here. Hackham with a clear punch, but player just gang tackled. He's thrown around the 360. Player runs himself into trouble there. Yeah, long Scafidi, but free kick given, so obviously held on to too long. And Wallace, long Scafidi it is, will take the resultant kick. And I'm just once again looking at, they spread very well here. Both coaches very astute. Michael Dean, of course, at O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale, and Rowie, Glenn Rowe it is at Hackham. Fantastic couple of guys to do the interviews with and to talk to. So they do go very dangerous kick, that spot. One of the most dangerous kicks in football, I say it every week. Diagonally into the centre back position, because this is what can happen. Hackham, under a little bit of pressure. They're trying to go backwards to get a free player. Just a hack out of the air. That will be play on. It's a grab. Umpires called that a grab. Looked like it was touched, but Andrew Davies with ball in hand, he stopped and set himself up. So a couple of their forward entries, Indy, have just been that bomb the ball forward as quick as you can, get it in. And fortuitously, another shot on goal here. So Andrew Davies just lining up. He's going to be about 40 out. Not much of an angle to talk of. Any breeze, he looks like a left footer. Any breeze is directly behind him. Gee, he doesn't take too many steps. And they're pretty happy, and they're on the board. And I'll tell you what, Andrew Davies has given them the start. And Hackham underway. We are, what are we, just 5.5 minutes in. So good start to Hackham. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah, it actually looked like O'Sullivan really outcoached some of the early play, but unfortunately those missed scoring opportunities. The Hawks definitely came with a dedicated plan today to try and get that ball out of the defence and their transition game on top. We'll see if they've got enough petrol tickets to keep it up for the full game, because we're only 6 minutes in. We're coming back to the centre now, getting a good look at the ruckman from here. The clearance won by the Hawks, the mark taken by the Hawks as well. Alex Devo keeps going. It's called play on by the umpire. I don't think the man on the mark knew. There's a whistle coming in.
He's kicked it on the full, I reckon, Indy. But I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with Hackham's speed. They've got some very fast players, and that means fast ball movement as well.
So we'll come back into the hands of the Lions here through Blake Muller. Slow to choose an option. Finds one. Or at least finds multiple, because a pack is forming. Oh, nearly a big mark there from Grosser. They get some handball transition going. There's a whistle here. It looks like it'll be played to advantage anyway. No, maybe it's out on the full, so it's actually going to come back into the hands of the Hawks. We're hearing whistles all over the place at the moment. I reckon there's a different perspective on the game from each of the umpires at the moment, but it's currently the Hawks' ball.
And those 50-50 kicks under pressure can hurt you, but they've got it here. Sullivan's beats Lonsdale with a free, but I'll tell you what, Hackham have done well with their pressure work there. Luke Allen kicks it out wide. Bit of a race on here for Jared Shaw. He's up against Riley Broadstock. I've seen Riley Broadstock the last few years. He's a very good player on that far wing. Long left-hand handball there for Hackham, trying to get it forward. Gives it back, sense of theatre there, so the player has to go on the left foot. They're in a dangerous position at centre forward. Round the corner, playing in front again, and around they go. Luke Allen kicks a goal as well. And I'll tell you what, that's twice that's happened, Indy, where the player in front has nabbed the mark. And I often say in football, either stand next to or in front of your opponent, because that 1 metre behind is the metre that you'll never make up. So a nice goal there to Luke Allen. Geez, I'll tell you what, he was very laconic there. Watch here, he just turns around, snaps it through, and that gives them a very good start to the game with 2 goals, 8 minutes in.
Very nice start here from the Hawks. An unexpected one, actually, going into this match. They don't have the momentum on the ladder, but this could really start something in their season to keep this up. The first 2 goals doesn't win you a game, but it's handy.
So man-on-man in the middle.
Absolutely. Pretty even height matchup, I reckon. Hawks ruck's probably just gone by a couple centimetres. Doesn't matter. What matters is the tap work. This could be another Hawks clearance, but the Lions retaliate. It comes back into the Hawks' hands, though. Hackham have done well to position themselves behind the ball. It's Luke Allen. Very good intercept mark there under contested conditions. Kicked not to the most favourable spot, but the Crummers were waiting. Maybe not so much the quality on the end of that kick on this occasion, but it might come back.
Pressure.
Yeah, Parkin was really trying to fight for it back there. Now constant crumbing, somehow comes back out with the Hawks. A little bit burned on the kick there from Jared Shaw. It might stay alive for a bit. Looked like high conduct. Umpire said you played for it. Didn't give any award. Alex Devereaux. It's just been spoiled over the line by the looks. In fact, I reckon that's...
Might be coming back for a free kick, I think, Indy.
Yeah, might be coming back for a free kick. Yeah, OSB's going to get possession back here. Yeah, everybody stopped, so... They've got a chance to try and conjure up some sort of play from full back now. Kyle Parker with the ball.
So Parker was waiting, but no, it's across to another player now, and he comes. That's a long kick right down to the wing here. Great set of jukes there, and Adam Rigney with the hand-painted boots on today, and very handy player. Second game back after a long injury, so very neat kick on him too, so that goes up. Yeah, numbers are there for O'Sullivan's beats Lonsdale. Quick movement here. Come inside, 2-on-1. That is a courageous mark there. And Luke Allen is all the way around the ground as we speak. He might be in line for a pair of arches and a beanie later on in the day if he keeps playing like this. So they're out the far side. It's almost a form of circle work. We did notice earlier in the day they came across diagonally from that side of the ground to this side of the ground. On this occasion, they try to go down the wing and a smother. So we start to see some of the patterns, Indy, whether they will come across, whether they'll... I'm not a fan of just kicking down the line to 50-50s, and a rare thing in football these days, a throw-in.
Yeah, probably more common in these leagues, but a throw-in nonetheless. OSB, they tried to advance. Broadstock, I reckon, tried to get the clearance attempt off. It was half smothered in the process. Hackham under a lot of pressure. OSB hacking their kicks, but still managing to find men through the abyss. O'Loughlin got it off to a man. That man clearing it out just for a, no, not even a minor score. It's actually going to be out of bounds on the full. So Hackham will get the ball back here. We're over 11 minutes into the term now, and I reckon OSB might just be getting a little bit forward impatient at this stage.
Yeah, Taylor Hobson, that was. He just dropped the head as soon as he kicked it, and that's early in the game for that to happen. The big ruckman's had a fair bit of work to do, Trent Grosser. He's punched it back, but this is good signs for Hackham because it comes straight back to them again. I think their backline's held up quite well and put them under pressure. Now the player with the jets on puts that ball out in front of him, very well controlled. Just had to kick it around the corner because he was rushed first to the ball here. Jeremy Cross, the captain, this way, that way. Both teams under pressure. Hackham couldn't get it out. He's taken high and will receive the free kick. And in the old days, we would say made to earn it. So this is Seth Hazel. It's going to come right down in front of our magnificent commentary trailer that we've got here today, right in front of us. And geez, a good size, this fella here. This is Andrew Davies, ball on centre wing.
Davies off of the left. Back. At the front of that pack was a teammate. Patrick Ganley had a chance to take a mark there and didn't quite. Or caught with his hands in the cookie jar, Kyle Parkin. It's going to be rewarded to someone here. It might even be the Hawks. It will be. It was a good tackle. Came in hot pursuit. Was worried it was going to go the other way. But Jared Shaw with the ball in hand. Not kicking from the most favourable angle, but reasonable distance. We take everything into equation with these kicks and probability. But ultimately, skill can defy that. Or it can remonstrate the importance of it. Well, low percentage shot. Once again, a stylish flick of the finger from that goal umpire. He's having a cruisy time out there today. Another minor score for the Hawks.
Interesting talking with the captains pre-game, and one of the things they did talk about was their precise use of the ball by Hackham, and that was Andrew Davies taking that big mark here on the wing, and it came about from a good kick. That's a clever kick off the side of the boot. That's actually meant to go to this player, and he's got Bevan O'Loughlin, he's got a couple to beat there. Still in the play. Well done, young man, because second efforts are paramount, as you suggested earlier, Indy. Petrol tickets today, 23 degrees, beautiful sunshine. You can see down there with the O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale crowd in the background. Huge crowd down here for this big Division 7 game between the neighbours pretty much. And out it comes to Hackham, straight down towards the centre of the ground. And playing in front, I've been really impressed with their playing in front here. And that's Glenn Draper going forward.
Ooh. The kick from Draper was good. Unfortunately, his man couldn't mark it. Patrick Ganley, another missed opportunity at a mark. He's had front position, but, well, obviously in minor league footy, players are allowed to do that. Richard Hoare just rushed that one over for a minor score, and that completely held his hand out. You're not allowed to do that in the major league, but over here it's completely reasonable. OSB with the ball in hand, now under a lot of pressure, especially with that marking contest. It really looked like there someone came off second best. I reckon that was Blake Bainbridge that took a faithful leap and maybe a little too risky in the end. Once again, the Lions with possession. Hobson on the far side of the pocket, the tower pocket, because of the massive tower in the background, comes towards the corridor. OSB, some traffic to work through, struggling to get through it and ran out of time to do so. Holding the ball. It's come back to the Hawks here. Nigel Van Dyke. Ooh, risky kick, maybe a little bit too high. Gave too much time for the defenders to get back. Devereaux still managed to make a good use of it, and there's a whistle going the other way now. So whether it's minor scores, free kicks conceded, it goes down there a lot, but Hackham could actually be leading by more.
Yeah, so this is number 6, I reckon it might have been number 5. No, Blake Muller that was, kicking out there. So they're going out that far side. I've just seen them repeat this pattern. So a little bit of a stoppage now allows the opposition also to get back. I'd like to see this kick hit someone rather than just like this, a bomb, well, went to grass rather than in the air. Clever tap on, but you've got to make sure players are there and you're set up. Gee, running on well. He's done that a couple of times. I've been really impressed with that player, Sean Morris. We saw that in the opening bounce as well. So transition, Indy, this is very good football, fast football from both teams, from one end to the other so quickly, and we get a throw in on that far side. If the boundary umpire, it's a fair run for the boundary umpire over there, and I like what you've said. We've got the tower side, we've got the playground and the change room sides here. Few players around the ball, and then probably 40 metres off the ball is another set of players to the left with one or two in between. Oh, taken out of the ruck, O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale, this way, that way, the player, can he get a foot to it? Oh, a basketball paddle there, and that was the big fella, Wade Francis, down there. Once again, defence doing well.
Wade Francis stood up well there, and really Hackham in general, their defence has actually come to play in this early game with swift attitude. OSB, can they finally punish from a turnover? With a kick like that, you probably can, because it was pinpoint accurate. Marcus O'Loughlin with the ball now. A chance to get OSB back into this game. They've had a slow start. A lot rides on this kick, and a bit uncharacteristic for a game to have a kick this important so early on, but it's could really change things.
That kick coming in was, it almost brought this player into the play, didn't it?
Yeah, it really soaked it in. There was probably magnets on either the mitts or the Sharon, one of the two, maybe both. And the kick is a little wayward, so there definitely weren't any magnets on there.
So 5 scoring shots to 3, so they've worked their way back in OSB, but they need a goal just to consolidate themselves and get themselves going. As I said, interesting, the big fella Trent Grosser there, number 28, on the mark. He's looks like he's gone up forward, but he's doing a lot of work early in this game. So the stoic backline again kicks it long, but gives it straight back. Very impressed with this young player, Andrew Terry. As we said, been the best players the last few weeks. Really looks like a footballer. Kicks that one high. We're probably looking for Rigney to come in, because Grosser it is, over the back. Nice quick handball out. Puts the player in trouble around the corner, but it's a very clever kick, just touching the post by the looks of it. And that was Blake Bainbridge getting foot to ball. So quick movement. The important thing for OSB there is that it didn't get 2 kicks out. It got out 1 kick and came straight back in. Ball on the far side.
Yeah, more and more pressure comes on these kicks the more they miss them, and they haven't been getting as many opportunities as a normal OSB side would this season. Oh, barreling bodies in at the moment on that far wing. Eventually the ball tumbles over the boundary line as we approach the 18.5-minute mark of the term. Overcast weather, not enough to stop the sunshine from coming through. In fact, last touch rule's given the ball back to Sullivan Beach here. So they play it safe. Andrew Terry, the one with ball in hand. They want to get a switch on here. The kick didn't work favourably, didn't bounce favourably. Still, Riley Broadstock was willing to do the dirty work and read it to the best of his ability. Oh, nearly taken over the line there. Marcus O'Loughlin keeps it alive and darts out a pass to the big ruckman, who can deliver an incredibly important shot.
Very clever play there, and Riley Broadstock had to stand and wait for that ball. He went back and got the second effort in, and they end up with a shot on goal now through that great work through Marcus O'Loughlin.
Young spectators on the sidelines just giving him the thumbs up there. Decides to go with the drop punt from a tight angle because he can afford to do that.
Let me just say, Indy, if there's any AFL players out there, don't laugh. That's how you kick a goal. A drop punt, 30 metres out, tight angle. No worries about it. Straight through the middle. Nothing going on between the ears in regards to panic or anything. Look at this. Lines up. He'd be 30 out, really tight angle, and puts it straight through. That's how you kick a goal. You play with the footy since you're 4 years old. You know how to hold it, how to kick it, what to do with it. And if you haven't learnt that, go out and keep doing it every day of the week until you do learn. Ball back in the middle. Lecture is over. Out they come. Hackham on the left foot. That's a long kick by the captain. Gee, player trying to wrestle his way to the front. They like getting it towards him too, Andrew Davies, but strong by OSB, and that's the goal they needed. Indy, 6 points the difference, 20 minutes in.
They're going to get an instant response here, potentially the Hawks. They get it back through last possession. Forced to work for it, Luke Allen. Unable to work for it. He was outmanned. But the kick coming out of the defence, not so bright either. Had to really ride the bump there. Lachlan Bradley shoved out the way with a very fair dinkum bump.
They're probably about 220 kilos between those two blokes, running in, looking at each other. And there's a couple other big blokes out here as well. So watch out for the captain of Hackham here, number 4, Jeremy Cross. He's been instrumental as well.
Ball thrown back into play. Hawks suddenly under the pump. Oh, isn't the back infringement there? It won't be.
He's got that running by, isn't he? Number 22 there, Sean Morris. He glides by. He's always on the move.
Ball up on the Torres Strait Islander flag. It'll be a free kick now to the Hawks. Right, one of their most important. Not his best kick, though. Not his best work. Still works for the Hawks, in fact. Glenn Draper, not the coaching Glenn, the playing Glenn, and he might want to go to the coaching box after that one just to get a little bit of advice on his kicking. I don't know.
He was playing in front, though, Indian. He seems to, they've got some really good targets there. Andrew Davies, and the good thing about him was the kick wasn't the best. That second effort, once again, when it was in the air, got the ground. Here's Big Grosso. He's had to do a lot of work. Players can't quite keep it in play there was Taylor Hobson. So just watch here, big Trent Grosser. He did say out there trying to cover ground. He said, I'll probably more walk, but he's getting to the spot and he's up against the big fella here, Lachlan Bradley. His way around, hits it backwards, but there's a nest of Hawks there. Held on to, so first to the ball. Good rule to have. Play. Oh, a little bit going on the mark, so a handball comes in the form of Thomas Green, kicks forward. Can they get it over the back? Broadstock, he's fumbling around with it. Player gliding by here. Oh, it's going to get to the boundary line first, and that was Adam Rigney, the other co-captain. So throw in right on that 50-metre line in front of the OSB faithful.
And right now the faithful would really have to dig deep to persist with that, Faith, because they could be losing it based on the way they've been playing. They got a shot here, though. In fact, if they could successfully convert in the forward 50, which is a rarity in this quarter, they can even the scores. Taylor Hobson. Oh, big fist coming through. Last line of defence. Really thrown under the pump here. It's going to be a ball up in the goal square. This is, well, we'd call it in American football the red zone, but over here it's danger. That's what it is. But the siren will save all of us from having to see any other score in the quarter. Something exciting could have happened there, but if it doesn't happen now, it will happen in the next quarter. The current scoreboard reads 1 goals for 10 to 2 goals for 16. It's Hackham Hawks by a goal. We're going to take a break.
Nine News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live. Strengthening communities through footy.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on, or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Welcome back to the O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Oval here, where at quarter time it's a 1-goal margin favouring the Hackham Hawks, which I don't think too many spectators would have predicted going into this game outside of the Hackham faithful. These 2 neighbouring clubs have really come together and delivered on the early hype around this game. Only 3 goals in that term, but it's a very interesting and intense play, a lot of physicality. Just speaking on the best players for the Hackham Hawks, of course, they're two goal kickers for the term, Luke Allen and Andrew Davies. Luke Allen, once again, an exceptional player. He proves why he's top 3 in the competition right now, and you can easily build a team around him, but thankfully they've got more to surround him with. Alex Delvo, another really good player in that term. And I've also liked the look of Robert O'Leary, another valuable midfield asset. Tony, who are some of the more useful players from O'Sullivan?
Yeah, well, Ryan Fitzpatrick, number 1, really like his game out on this wing. We go through Andrew Terry, number 17, really looks like he can play. Marcus O'Loughlin, real ball getter. 8, of course, the big ruckman, Trent Grosser. And I've liked Sean Morris gliding by and on the move in the ruck throw-ins. A little bit of analysis there. Hackham playing in front around the ground. They've got quick ball movement and very good defence. OSB, they tended to get it into their 50, but it came out too easily for my liking, and they are very good at turning the ball back over. When Hackham have got it, they can turn it over through the middle of the ground and set themselves up. You are with Indy Rogers for the start of the second quarter in what has become a very entertaining game, Indy.
Absolutely. 6 points in it. Even in the context of a low-scoring game, that's still not much at all. An early whistle in the middle. It's going to favour the Lions. It'll fall into the hands of the ruck, Trent Grosser, who's been very good with his tap work early on. He gets a clearance, his first for the game. Comes to the forward line. Big tackle there is going to give them a set shot opportunity because Robert O'Leary didn't quite get rid of it in time, was tossed into defensive territory, thrown behind the ball. Didn't have the composure for it. Ryan Fitzpatrick. We've talked about this man a little bit.
Playing a good game on that far wing.
Absolutely. One of their best for the day so far. Can kick an all-important goal for the sake of the second quarter momentum, which is not a premiership quarter by any means. But it's very welcome for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Tell you what, they get around him too, Indy. They know the importance of that. And I think OSB Lonsdale in the last few years, it's been, well, we go out and we play our game, and, you know, if it happens to get through for a win, that's great. I think now there's an air of expectation. They're preparing for games and they're preparing to win games, and that's the expectations they've got. And this is where they want to be. They've drawn back level on the scoreboard. They're going to now push through. So let's see what happens. Big Grosser in the middle, really impressed with him.
Grosser back in the middle as well. He's got the physicality of an all-time ruckman, that's for sure. Cleared out now by Broadstock.
Oh,
not the most
bang.
pinpoint accurate kick, but here's Fitzpatrick again
Wow.
with the check side goal. 2 consecutive in style for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
What a sensational piece of play. He's coming off that wing and just forging through. And I thought Hackham were fast, but boy, get into his hands. And that is great play. Look at him jogging back over there to the far wing. And wow, what a great piece of play. As we said, Grosser, if you watch him in the ruck, he's actually protecting where the ball's dropping. He doesn't need to get off the ground, especially at this level, but that can happen at any level. Protects it, gives it to the players. And didn't they go 1-2 handballs, get it across and bang, down it goes. And very good kick by him. Check side around the corner. Let's have a look at Grosser here in the middle. You can see he's only 2 or 3 metres. He doesn't even use the full circle. He just steps in, protects the ball drop, pushes it back, gets it back himself around on the left foot. Advantage of playing in front. Can't quite get it here, OSB player. Oh, he's kept it in. Coming in also is Fitzpatrick as well. I reckon that might have been Broadstock out on that far side that gave a hand as well. So some really good players out here to watch today. So Broadstock it was who actually ran back to the wing. So we'll try and pick up where Fitzpatrick is. As the ball comes in, shallow throw. Hackham player just drops it frontwards there, and 3 O'Sullivans beats Lonsdale players on to 1. And he gets swamped there, Nigel Van Dyke. Up it goes. Just in traffic as we speak. Oh, courageous play there. Good solid football. So a 3rd ball up in a row here by our umpire. Up it goes. A lot of players around it. This time Hackham hacked the kick out 2 on 1, so player has to go. Up it goes, down it comes. A little bit of shepherding, just a bumble forward. We're going to get another ball up here, Indy, so just a little bit scrappy these last few minutes. In fact, it's a free kick for holding it in, and this is Wallace Long Scafidi.
Long Scafidi. Not down to the square, but to the pocket. Not a great kick. Luke Allen again. He's going to have to put together another big game to get the Hawks over the line. They were comfortably on top earlier, under the pump in this second term. Here he is again.
Ooh, I've done the ankle there.
Oh, yes, he's done a nasty injury here. He's not going to be able to take that kick, but he wants to. Well,
he jarred it there. Big clump of dirt come up as well, but he's up.
Yeah, let's hope that it's only a jar and not a potential strain. Wouldn't be a snap. Came down to the pack. No mark. The crumb by Dale Johns. And now the finish from Alex Delvo. Gets them back into it.
It's a really impressive game of speed, and I'm super impressed with the skill. That quick handball across Indy. And Delvo, ran by, and nice goal. He got that open space. He reminded me a little bit of Sean Morris, how he did that run by there. Well, we do see that player coming off now, hobbling off. He was able to take his kick, but hopefully just jarred it there, and not good for Luke Allen. One of the better players. So we see Shane Green coming on. Bit of a chuckle at the OSB Lonsdale bench as he comes on. So bit of fun and games and shenanigans. Ball in the middle of the ground.
Back to the centre it goes. Hawks looking to follow up. Umpire whistle happy to get another ball up in the centre circle here. Wind picking up just a little bit, but no papers flying. Not yet. Cleared out by the Hawks. Coming down to turf. Someone was held without it. It was the OSB player, in fact, held without it. Advantage taken by Thomas Chaplin. No, sorry, that was taken the mark now by Taylor Hobson. He gets and goes. High kick. Heading towards the arc. There was a bit of holding infringement there. It's going the other way, and they're going to be upset about that one, OSB, because it almost looked like they were holding on to each other, but clearly, well, as we sometimes do in the schoolyard, the one who started it gets the worst punishment. Back into the corridor. The Hawks, desperate to crumb Jeremy Cross. Can't get the clean pickup. OSB numbers coming in quick fashion and in comfortable fashion now as they manage to get it out here.
It was Andrew Terry again. That was a clever little kick there, Indy. They go now towards centre forward. They're inside the 50. Is that a nudge? The umpire says, no, we'll pay that a mark. And he's been quite strong in defence down here as well, that big player down there. And that's a nice kick out. So ball right on that far side. Half-back flank. Player gliding by on the boundary side. Big ruckman there. Was a long way from hand to foot, so it wasn't the best of kicks. O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale player comes back. And that's a nice set of jukes by Fitzpatrick. Geez, I'll tell you what, he loves it. He's got after it and then flattened him after it. He got hit in the back there, and he's been very, very industrial this quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's really livened them up. Fairly long way out. They've yelled out you've got the win, but I don't know whether he can make 50 metres, so he elects to go for a beautiful pass. Oh, the jukes went up, went through, and I'll tell you what, Austin Worst hasn't been near it, and Rigney hasn't been near it, both players this game. We've hardly called them, and now they're two major goal scorers. So OSB Lonsdale have still got another gear to get into as the ball's in that forward line area. This way, that way. Oh, can't get the kick out, and umpire says holding the ball. And that strong defence of Hackham, Thomas Chaplin it is with ball in hand.
So Hackham from defensive territory needs to get that transition game going again. May require an adjusting of gears, as Tony stated. Well, not with a kick like that, though. An ugly one coming out of the defense, so it's going to have to come back into it. Fitzpatrick by hand, misfired towards the intended target and hit the wrong one. Pack formed for the mark. No one came out with it. Everybody desperate for the ball here. These short, sloppy kicks because of the amount of pressure everybody's being forced under. Jeremy Cross, the one to eventually clear it, but it's going to go over the line and under the last touch rule. OSB will get the ball back. It looks as though that will be running onto it Sean Morris.
So it's just having a look inside there. Oh, geez, he was going to go back a long way. He's got two players here if they wanted to, a bit like Port play. So that's okay, but what's up the ground? The players up the ground now need to work, and there's a nice lead given there. That's smart play there by young Bevan O'Loughlin. Well done, young man. Gives it off. Oh, just about ran himself into trouble, but got out of it, and that was Marcus O'Loughlin. Up high now. They're already into their forward line. This way, that way. Oh, clever. That was very clever play. And that number 14 there, we may not... I don't think we've got a number... Oh, yes, we have. Malik O'Loughlin. So the 3 O'Loughlins somehow got it from half back to half forward and then finishing with a goal. And did we see who kicked that goal? Here it is now. And that was number 2, which is Blake Bainbridge, playing his role, a supporting role to the O'Loughlin factory there. That was great play from backline to forward line, and we haven't seen too many close to it, and very clever play combining there.
Excellent passage from OSB. 9.5 minutes gone. O'Sullivan Beach, Lonsdale Oval. These two neighbours colliding in a match definitely living up with hype. All caps on the calendar, and right now all caps on the coaches' clipboards at the moment because of the amount of stress that would be building in this game, the notes that they'd be taking. I don't think you could write in cursive at the moment. It's going to come out wide here after the clearance, a little wayward. Hawks will get an opportunity. There's a mullet if you've ever seen one. Comes down the line into the hands of Andrew Davies. He kicked the opener for the game. Did he pitch himself back in? A bit of a shank off with the left foot. And misses his intended target. So now Andrew Terry, he nearly turned it over, but unable to juggle the mark well, getting rewarded the free kick for holding infringement. Anyway, Thomas Chaplin now wasting no time going forward. The man front managed to get hands to it comfortably. That was Glenn Draper, the non-coaching Glenn. He spots out another target, and it's Luke Allen who could line up for goal number 2.
Beautiful kick too, Indy, wasn't it? They've done a bit of this. We've seen them go diagonally across the ground, but obviously they know. We call that the fat side that Luke Allen ran into there, and good to see him get back out as well after that little bit of a twinkle with the knee on the far side.
Yeah, absolutely. We were all worried about that. But he's back and back in fashion. Fashionably accurate. I was almost about to say fashionably inaccurate. The goal umpire had to move, but eventually the result speaks for itself. Hawks hit one back. That's 2 for Luke Allen.
So they've kicked 2 goals straight this quarter, and OSB Lonsdale 3 goals straight for the quarter. So very accurate kicking as we speak. 1 point in it. 11.5 minutes gone, second quarter. Ground bathed in sunshine. We've got the reconciliation round 2023 painted in front of us. We've got the, now Indy, take us through, we've got the Indigenous flag to the left with the Australian flag in the middle, and the one on the right was the
Torres Strait Islander flag.
That is sensational work down here. They do it as good, if not better, than anyone with reconciliation round down here. I say that unashamedly with OSB Lonsdale. They've hosted us for 3 years down here. It's a pleasure to bring this game to all the people viewing around Australia, as we hope you're enjoying this very good game. Ball in the middle there. Grosser just takes it out, goes this way, that way. O'Loughlin 1, gets it back around the corner. They're going forward towards the 50. Oh, charging out there is Adam Rigney. Rigney around the corner to Sean Morris. He's put a ball into a dangerous position at centre forward. They float off. Look at the player on the outside of the pack here. He won't get it. Players maul. Hackham now. Out it comes. Up in the air. Down. Players fly. Can't take it. Hackham under pressure. And a free kick given. Time for a breath of air.
Yeah, give them a moment for everybody just to breathe. And maybe even to the favour of OSB as well, because everybody was starting to run out of a bit of energy there. How high-paced the action is. That's the game we're watching at the moment. Robert O'Leary with the ball in hand. Decides to go long. Beautiful kick, in fact, to Ryan O'Leary, the other O'Leary. Both with a nice capital R at the start of their respective names. Early whistle there. It's just gone over the line. I was worried there's going to be a little bit of high tackle infringement, which would have gone to Andrew Terry. It will instead be a throw. And you could see the flags waving there a bit in the background. Just the wind picking up, not blowing super strong towards the northern end. It actually looks like it's coming more from the east at this stage. Jeremy Cross with the left foot. Missed the first target. The Crummers had to compensate somehow. Lachlan Bradley. Awkward little twist back into the arc. Ooh, big collision there. It'll result in OSB taking back possession in the bizarreness of it. Broadstock had to really balance himself to get that kick off. He found a man in front. Can they find another lead to back it up? They can. And
Rigney, finally.
Yeah, Trevor Rigney, looking a little bit like Ash McGrath out there, honestly, just from a large perspective. Not trying to anticipate any after the siren miracle.
Kicked over 1,100 goals. And in recent weeks that went up, and just 5 weeks, so a real good goal scorer.
Let's take a look at what he put together here. One for the album. Absolutely. Take a screenshot of that. However you will, it's another goal for OSB.
And I'll tell you what, if he's kicked 1,100 plus goals, he'd know that end of the ground fairly well. I'd suggest Indy taking into account games and then training days as well. So you'd expect that he would be kicking it for a young player out there. This is watching on the screen. This is how you go about it. Beautiful ball drop, hand to foot, through it goes. Great guy to chat to as well, and really loves helping out the younger players now down around here. And I love that side of it, that leadership and the seniority, helping out the younger players down here. So once again, you see Grosser just... He's too big, too strong, protects that ball drop. But tell you what, it's not who wins the tap, it's what happens next. And Hackham, that could be a contender for Mark of the Week if ever I've seen it. But Andrew Terry, is it? Solid grab there. A nice little kick forward to Nyland Court.
Back into the corridor. Now under a bit more pressure, Bevan O'Loughlin finds an option on the outer. One-on-one fight ensues. A man on the outside. Came in handy, though. It's kicked further. That was Malik O'Loughlin taking the ping at goal as, once again, that stylish goal umpire, who I think has been watching a lot of Saturday Night Fever recently based on how groovy he is at the moment doing his job. He doesn't even stand still when he points out the 2 or 1 fingers. He just strolls on about and flicks it out. So, Hackham... an opportunity to reset. Falling a little bit behind now. They haven't actually taken the lead in this quarter despite keeping the distance sometimes uncomfortable for the Lions. They've managed to respond. Broadstock again. He's really started to put together an impressive term. He didn't even need his teammates for a finish. He could do it all himself. Riley Broadstock. Definitely one of the more classy goals of this afternoon. 16.5 minutes gone, and we have a game-high margin, 41 points to 27 now, in favour of the Lions.
Just looking at those Mark of the Week and Goal of the Week sponsors. So the Goal of the Week is Thirsty Camel. We've got a contender there. And Mark of the Week, of course, is Bianco, and we've got a contender for that as well. So well done to those players. We'll certainly be putting these goals and marks forward as the ball in the middle of the ground now. Just once again the rolling maul, the rugby type fashion where it's a contested ball and no easy ball to get out there. You've got to go in and get your own. The wingers are quite close in on this side, and you see Broadstock out the other side far off, and it'll just come that way as we speak. Interesting by the side on Broadstock then. They get all forward bound there. Well, player attacking is good. Strong player Andrew Terry there down back. Oh, streaming through. Big Blake Muller puts it to a contest. Now the race is on. O'Loughlin. Can he get past 2 of them? He can't quite get the tackle in, but support came, so the pressure on the kick. Oh, that is a great take, young man. Taylor Hobson to get that ball down below your feet, or below your knees more likely. Round it comes here. OSB Lonsdale. Nice kick in. And a good strike here. And this is Thomas Green just saying, settle down, guys. I'll tell you what, Taylor Hobson, take your hat off to that lad. To get a ground ball like that and take that under pressure below your knees like that, clean take, that is sensational. It gives them a chance here, shot at goal. It's a long kick. It turns into a helicopter. It's probably a set play because Rigney just dives. That'll be a great catch in cricket, let alone football. And Rigney, and this is we talk about, the game of inches and taking your opportunities. Don't let any chance. He could have let that just roll out of bounds. He says, I'll throw my body horizontally full bore at it. That is a great mark. Around the corner, don't tell me. And one of the best points ever seen at OSB Lonsdale.
Goal umpire seemed to think so. If he pulls out a BG style afro, you're going to understand. Well, it's worth commenting almost every time we see him because it's just so uncanny of any goal umpire across the country. I mean, first we got David Roden with the big smile, and now the 70s inspired goal umpire. Ooh. Hackham under a lot of pressure. Another forced turnover through that pressure. Thomas Green, high ball, won't hit a target directly. They've got Crummers to utilise. Another diving mark attempt from Rigney, but this one is not going to be paid. The turf beat him to it, unfortunately. So it will be a ball up in the goal square. Dangerous territory. Then snapped over the top instead by Sean Morris.
Very easy in the end, Indy, because I was just watching what he was going to do there, Gross. I thought he might have done a Hawkins and just protected it and took him himself. But if we see the replay, just nonchalantly tapped it back. But that's about players understanding other players' strengths. Here we go here. Gives it back, and just a nice kick around the corner by Sean Morris. That is where you do the kick around the corner for those watching at home, and very well done. So a little bit of a shout out. We know one of the ex-coaches down here at OSB Lonsdale, but had a good time down here was Ben Hardy, one of our friends, now coaching North Gambia, and he, I know, will be watching this game back tonight as he's coaching today. Always keeps an eye on it. Gave us some intel on some players, and wished everyone all the best down here. So we say thanks for that, Ben, and we're hoping you're enjoying the telecasters. Now, Hackham player just beat everyone there, went around the corner, couldn't quite get it through. He had to do it on his own, didn't have a lot of support, Indy, but good effort. And they've kicked 2-1 for the quarter to 6 goals too, so really great quarter by OSB Lonsdale, isn't it?
Missed opportunity from Jared Shaw. OSB. Not the most effective of kick-ins. It's gone straight to the opponent. Alex Delvo. He'll take it. Considered a handoff. He stepped off his mark, so he had to make his final decision a little quicker than he would have initially liked. Crumbed there. Crumbed up by Alex Pascoe and effectively snaps it to a teammate. He's found Andrew Davis, who can line up for goal number 2.
Been a bit quiet this quarter, hasn't he? They haven't been able to put it to him as they've liked. It's been a lot of OSB Lonsdale, and young Bevan O'Loughlin just come past for a decent rest too. He's exhausted already, so he's had a great game on that wing. So Davies it is. Ball in hand, Indy.
They were 3 goals up at one point in the first quarter, and now they're 4 goals down. This goal to stem the flow just a little bit, keep them in, one step at a time for Hackham Hawks.
Second goal there to Davies. Perhaps might be the time to bring it a bit further. Maybe start him at the 50 or even at centre-half forward. He can bring it on a little bit. They've got the big fella there. You see the two of them stand there together, Glenn Draper. Draper's up at centre-half forward, but he's... When we talk about the old positions, centre forwards are almost up on the square, but you see Draper's quite deep, and Davies is only probably 20 metres behind him. They need someone taller to come up the ground a little bit more for that avenue, and I like the way that Davies moves around. So, up it goes again, trying to reach over the top, different ruckman there in the middle, so, stepping backwards, that is very clever. I reckon that was O'Loughlin again. Nice kick and ball in hand here. Adam Rigney just doesn't quite hit it correctly, but I'll tell you what, the big fella came through. Trent Goss, I was just saying in the ruck, so Grosser came, moves up forward. He doesn't come off the ground for the rest. Goes up forward, not a rest in inverted commas because he still has to perform. That's what he does. Walks forward, says kick it to me. Runs in, I'll tell you what, give him the big rap and... just didn't quite get that one finished there, so that could be costly for them as a 49 to 34. So that's a 15-point margin as we speak. Hackham about to kick in.
Grosser did all but the easy of play, which was the finish.
Ooh.
Hackham a chance to respond. Ganley looked inward, found an option. They keep the handball chain going, and a little too trigger happy with it in the end.
Really good Andrew Terry here.
Yeah, now Terry looks inward. Not to the wisest of options. Plenty of Hackham players around the ball, although I think the safety this thing still some manages to get cleared out. It was Terry again. Big bump. Ryan O'Leary really had to ride that one because he did not have the size advantage there.
Tell you what, the crowd next to us, the coaches box and all the crowd around, all just a good hard attack on the ball as they're trying to get it goal by Jeremy Cross as he pretty much comes out of the pack and he kicks. What a quarter we've had in here. OSB have kicked 7 and Hackham have kicked 4, so that's 11 goals for the quarter and 4 points between them. So shots in the quarter, and that's pretty good. As I keep saying, don't worry about the division, just watch football as football, and that is a great effort by both teams and keeps them just within range, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're nearly 25 minutes into the quarter, but probably a bit more time on could be anticipated for this one, surely because of just how high scoring this particular quarter of football has been. So the Hawks bite their way back in, only down by 9 now. Back in the middle, sloppy hands from Jeremy Cross. Oh, big fend off from Jared Shaw. Did a fantastic job, but not so much on the second fend off. He got away with it. Getting back in there was Cross. The Hawks captain couldn't conjure up anything. A little bit of a drag tackle, the umpire claimed. So Hawks will keep it in possession. Go a long ways down the line.
That's nice. He's a good kick, isn't he, Cross?
Yeah. He uses the ball well. Always finds the best option. They found a good option up forward, but infringement is going to turn the ball back towards the hands of the Lions.
It's 25. Very physical game of football. It's not nasty. It's just hard. Physically hard football from both teams. And just, you know, we're here to commentate. I'm just enjoying watching. Just a fantastic game of football. But there's a yellow card send-off here. So obviously the player must have said something there. And he's still turning and arguing. So the runner's coming out to... I wouldn't get too close to him if I was the runner to assist him off. Little pat on the bum, and just as I was saying about how hard and physical it was, but fair, and obviously something's been said, so he'll have a little there. But he's, that's straight, but that's going to be, here they go forward now. Oh, push out, is it, Rigney? No. So they'll load up again here, Hackham. We're 26.5 minutes into the quarter, squeezed up tight on the half back line, comes down the wing. That's not going to hit the player. Player gliding by has to take him on. OSB again. This player here is under trouble. He's been caught once or twice, so OSB are on to it. You need good vision there. Hackham have picked up on it, so at the ground ball, this is where you need that player just free of it on the edge of a pack. Fresh air shot there. This is hard, aggressive football, 27 minutes into the quarter, and a ball upcoming.
Wow. Tipping over the 27-minute mark. The intensity has not dropped. Don't even know if the players will want to go into the halftime break at this point. They want to settle the game here and now. It's torped into the forward 50 for the Lions. Here's Fitzpatrick again. His last few minutes have been quiet. Can he have a big moment? He'll give that moment to Damon Graham instead. He goes to the tip of the square and found a vacant man to take a safe mark on the chest. And it will be, I believe, Trevor Rigney.
Come on, Indy, wind it. Surely you can't miss from here. Come on, give us the big wind up.
Famous last words can sometimes hurt us, but this is one he really shouldn't miss. And he doesn't. He gets the last goal of the term, takes them back up by 15 points. It was a huge quarter from the OSB Lions. And, well, Hackham not out of it yet, but a 7-goal quarter, always welcome for a team like this after they were only 1 goal down in the first term.
Yeah, seven goals 3 to 4 goals 1. So really, we will take a short break, and I think we've got an interview with Anthony Bernhardt that was done earlier in the season just about the day, and also coaches in there. No, just Anthony it is this time. So just gives us a bit of background about the day and what it means and so on. So we'll be back after the...
9 News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live. Strengthening Footy.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support. Well, folks, it's that time of the year again, and it's an exciting time. I mark this one down in the diary every year because I'm so excited to get down here. I'm joined by CMAX Clinical Research Division 7 OSB Lonsdale President, Anthony Bernhardt. Welcome, Anthony.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for coming down again this year. Thank you.
Mate, during the 3rd reconciliation round, it'll be live streamed, live commentated for the wider football community. We know it was streamed interstate a couple of years ago as well. Just tell us about what the reconciliation round is all about.
Well, it's about basically acknowledging our First Nations people, really using a grassroots level to educate and spark conversations about where First Nations people have been in the past and what they've gone through, and let's talk about the future as well, and in a safe environment, you know. Why not? You know. So yeah.
Well, let's do this, Dave. But, you know, it's very moving as well with the ceremonies beforehand. The theme for
this year's theme is what they've come up this year, which is really something that identifies what our club's supposed to be doing and trying.
Yep.
You know, and we relate to that.
As we said, you do the day so well, but it's also about the journey throughout the whole season and in the off-season because people like to come together and get together, gel. And tell us about the day. First of all, the jumpers, tapping net.
Yeah, sure. So the 3rd year running now, we've got our Indigenous jumper. It was designed by Doug Clinch, Senior. So it sort of represents the, when you look at the Guernsey, it shows the line in the middle. It shows the two merging clubs coming up as one, the Lonsdale Football Club in the green and gold,
Yes.
and the Solomons Beach Football Club coming up in the maroon and white, all merging as one together where we are today. So this is our last year of having that design of the Guernsey. We're going to retire it after this year, so next year we've got something in the pipeline to something specky to come up next year.
All right, well, we'll be here again. Don't worry about that. It's a fantastic story. I remember last year when they laid the jumpers out on the table and a couple of people actually took me through the whole story. You stand there, it's just fascinating. It's not just a pattern on a jumper. There's so much meaning behind that to so many people. Anthony, the foods. What's happening on the day? There's some special Indigenous foods for me to try again. The kangaroo tail soup was sensational.
There will be some Indigenous foods around. Not as like a big spread like we had last year, but there will be some things around to come and try. So, and that's thanks to Sonda Care, who's sponsored that as well.
Yes.
They've been fabulous over the last few years, who've provided those opportunities for people to come and try different foods.
Well, the club's full of volunteers as well, isn't it? And I remember we interviewed them beforehand. No, the spread was just absolutely huge. The year before, we had it up in the shed there, and you rely on the volunteers. The cooking starts the day before in the morning. They get how to present that food, and mate, it's absolutely sensational. Ceremonial, tell us about some of the serious side.
Yeah, so for the first time this year, we've got the City of Onkaparinga supporting us for this round, and they acknowledge the importance of reconciliation. Right. So the Mayor of City of Onkaparinga, Moya Ware, will be out here to have a speech, and also we have the Minister of Sport and Rec, Katrina Hilliard. So there she is, there, right there. Yes. So she'll be out as well. She's a great supporter of our club and supporter of reconciliation, not just here but all across Ghana and South Australia. So so it's going to be a pretty big day. Then of course we've got Isaac.
So work with me. This sends shivers up my spine. For anyone that hasn't seen or heard or been at one of these ceremonies, you're missing out. It touches me to the point, we speak about it, goes right through. Tell us about Isaac's two things this year. This gentleman's played all over the world, so tell us about what Isaac does and his performance here.
Well, Isaac's a special person to our club and our family here. He first started performing back in 2015, his first public performance, and since then, he's gone off to play in Commonwealth Games and Olympics games or whatever.
Dignitaries.
Governors, the Queen and the late Queen, and he's just a fantastic guy on the inside,
Yes.
And what he's come out this year to do, he approached me a couple of weeks ago and said, Anthony, you want me to come out again? I said, I absolutely want you to come out, get down here. He says, look, this is his family, this is where he's born and called, this is his home. So he said, no, count me in, and he said, I'll come out to this smoking ceremony as well. To make everyone welcome today, as well play the Yidiki, I think it is pronounced Yidiki.
That's it.
Yes. So and that there just goes through everybody on the oval. And everyone just gets so mind blown away of the way he plays that thing. It's just mad.
I'm serious. I'm just about tearing up now. That feeling, you can't describe what that's like. And I'm not overacting that. That is, feel that go through your body it's one of the best things that you can ever experience, and it's so emotional for you. It's fantastic. Now, what's happening afterwards, Anthony?
Okay, so we've got a DJ coming at night this year. Yeah, a bit of high tense, a bit of light flash and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So because obviously a lot of our new players and our clubs is a new generation coming through.
Yep.
So to suit them, that's what they want us. So that's what they're going to get. So.
Well, I walked in. This is very quiet in here. You've ruled the roost very well here, but when I walked in, there was a bit of academic playing, and I thought, geez, I could just settle in here for a couple of hours. And it was fantastic, but you've quietened it down, so the youngies will take over. Okay, let's get across to footy. You started the season with a win. That would have been exciting for the team.
It was. It was exciting, not just for the team, but the club. We've worked extremely hard in recruiting new coaches over the summer and recruiting new players as well.
Yep.
A lot of youth coming through.
Yep.
The first win was a great example of what football looks like out here. You know, it's exciting.
Yes.
You know, it's an exciting brand of football.
Yep.
And to come up 3 points in the win, it's like, it's fantastic. It was a good feel.
And of course, Para Hills are sitting up the top at the moment. And besides that first quarter, they kicked 6, you kicked 5 goals. So you stayed with them for 3 quarters. So there's some things starting to evolve down here at O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale.
Yeah, I think as we all know, any club players come through. It takes players to gel together, and we're seeing signs in the quarter, in some quarters going, hang on a second, that quarter's absolutely magnificent, But it's coming. You can just see how it's a piece of artwork coming together.
Yes.
And it looks quite promising.
And of course, a shared vision. Tell us about this bloke, who's an absolute superstar down here. We get him on the highlights a lot. Trevor Rigney, how many goals is he up to, and have you seen them all?
No, I haven't seen them all. I've seen his Facebook posts, and he's got his top 50.
Yeah.
As people who know Trev, so he's on 1,098 career goals.
Wow.
See what he get for his. I wish him well for that, and he's just a magnificent, kind-hearted bloke too. He's down to earth.
Right.
And I think everyone knows Trevor.
Yes.
Everyone knows Trevor. And good on him. Still going on.
Sensational.
But I'll tell you what, 2 more goals, and I think this crowd will be going over their heads.
So you imagine being a young 17, 18-year-old kid, and you turn up and you say, Trevor Rigney's there. Those kids, in 30, 40 years' time, they'll be able to tell their kids, I'm seriously, their kids and their grandkids, I played footy with Trevor Rigney. That's how good he is. And I'm being serious there, because we've seen his highlights packages, his marks, his goals, and for him now to be nurturing that next group coming through. So I talk about the environment down here, and certainly players like Trevor and probably the rest of your senior squad helping the new coach as well.
Oh, absolutely. Just back on Trevor, at his age, he just makes it look so easy. And as you said, young people do look up to him. The environment down here has absolutely been refreshing.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
All right, back live now, and good break and close game, and with the coach, and they've got a fair few players out. They've also got 2 players that have doubled up today, playing 2 games, and now in this game as we speak, as the ball just bobbles around there, just good vision. But there's what we talk about, the Hackham player getting first to the ball. Did mention it is going to be one in the midfield. Whoever gets that midfield ball out normally ends up with the goal, as O'Loughlin goes this way, that way. Clever kick around the corner, and gee, that player just found, you only need that 2 or 3 metres, Indy, a little bit of space, and they've got it forward to a player about to have a shot on goal, Sean Morris.
Yeah, this would be a very important kick, because they really demonstrated their momentum early in the second quarter. And sometimes when you shop in early, you come out with the best goods. And this could be another one of those occasions.
All right, so Sean Morris, he's going to have to kick from probably 45, dead in front. The wind's picked up a little bit. It'll be in his face here. You see that ball did drift away to the right, but the crowd erupts once again. What a game we've had. They've kicked 6 goals in the last quarter, 7 goals in the last quarter. They've opened up already 1 minute in. You can see there, he's probably kicked that from 35 out. There is a little bit of a breeze picked up, as we said, that would be going directly to the left of screen, but beautiful day, bathed in sunshine. There we can see the coaching fraternity at OSB Lonsdale, big crowd in the background there, and it's a huge day down here, Reconciliation Day. Ball back in the middle of the ground.
Instant impact from OSB. Hawthorn. Hackham.
Hawthorn.
They're both Hawks. They both wear the same colours, and they've both got a double H. What can I say? Little tongue slip. Oh, Hackham. Speaking of slips, that tackle just slipped off of potentially being a high infringement. Lachlan Bradley clears it out, keeping it to the far wing. OSB respond, but they're caught. Jeremy Cross actually caught him fair and square according to the umpire. Almost thought it could have been high infringement. So what can the skipper conjure up for the Hawks? Nothing with that kick. Hand pass back by Terry. Trying to chain together some hand passes here. They're going to utilise a vacant wing. Well, what was vacant until options started becoming limited. And as the Sharon tumbles towards our van, it looks as though Hackham will take it back into possession through Seth Hazel. He looks on. Got a nice drop on that punt, but didn't hit a target directly. Early tackle laid by Dale Johns, and ball tumbles over the boundary line for a throw-in.
So half-forward flank, you can see the crowd all the way spread right down there as well. They could be Hackham, they could be OSB Lonsdale. I'll tell you what I've loved is the interaction between the clubs. Once again, as I said, spoke with the coach at half-time, and he said, well, there's been a couple of players, relatives play at each club and so on. So Hackham around the corner. That's a high kick. That takes courage to stand under that. Player does so for OSB Lonsdale and just bundled out there. And this is one of the occasions where you do get the throw in. As I said, have a look at that crowd. Grassroots football, beautiful weather, big crowd in. There was a big event at half time, of course, with the say it was the mayor and a few others in the change rooms, a couple of speeches and so on. I glided past that as well. I covered a bit of ground at half time, Indy, but back into this game. Oh, up it goes. That's what I'd like to see. Nice tap there by Hackham, but OSB Lonsdale straight down the wing. What a battle there. And gee, the great jukes there. Damon Graham, haven't called a lot of him. That was a strong mark. This player's having a great game as well. Marcus O'Loughlin really liked his game. Oh, courage. Adam Rigney really brought himself into the game as well. That's a nice kick to a 2-on-1 though. Can they glide by? They can. Around the corner. And that is Malik O'Loughlin with his first and just positioning there off the pack. We call it a front and centre. He glided by, knew it was going to come down. That courage though, Adam Rigney coming out to that ball, and I reckon it was Bevan O'Loughlin going back. They took it, kicked it forward very quickly. Here it is here. Round he goes. That is a great goal. And very clever football by Malik O'Loughlin, because you can sometimes get distracted and just say, see ball, get ball, when you should maybe just wait for space. And well, they've got their second on the board, Indy, for almost 5 minutes in, 4 3/4 minutes in. See the player from Hackham there trying to protect the space this time. So both ruckmen there just still plopping around the middle as the ball comes down. Player being held. The advantage of being in front once again.
OSB, game high 27-point margin. Is it nearly to come? What will the mentality of Hackham suggest? Right now, Mike Van Dyke is in this moment. Now he's out of it. He was tackled out of it. Umpire with a ball up on the far side of the ground, just shy of the playground pocket. But it's no playground out there, even though the turf is quite soft and nice, as we said, very well nurtured. It's still a battleground nonetheless. Back getting involved, Nigel Van Dyke once again. It'll be a ball up, similar position. We're nearly 6 minutes into the term now. You just get a feel that it'll either be a blowout or a slog, just to slow the game down and keep the Hawks in it. Misses everyone. The entire pack ended up misreading that ball as it came forward. The Hawks looking for Crummers. Jeremy Cross goes the long kick into the forward 50, managing to get goal side and positioning himself well. Andrew Davies for goal number 3.
He's good size, you can see there on the screen, and yeah, if they can get that ball to him, uses the body well as well, Indy, and well, what we've seen so far is a very good kick. Let's just see how we go. I won't put the moz on him.
He cannot afford to miss this one for the sake of the Hawks. Opposition teammates are trying to clap him to throw him off his game, and no, didn't quite work. It almost did. That was one of the shakiest goals, ugliest goals I've ever seen, but it's goal number 3. That's what matters. Andrew Davies.
Brings them back that little bit closer, 17-point margin on the scoreboard. And just popped it through, didn't he? Just made the distance, really, enough to to get the job done. So 67 plays 40. I think that'll be 46 now, actually. So, yeah, 21 points in it. We'll get that score right in a minute. There we go. So 21 points back the margin. Yeah, wouldn't be arguing with the umpire too much. The last bloke that did that's still on the sidelines. So Gross has had a great game, and he's a pinpoint kick as well. Damon Graham just starting to get industrious this quarter as well. Graham, he plays on there, and you can't run in from the side like that until the umpire calls it, Ryan O'Leary. So that may bring him into range of the goals, which the call comes from the sidelines, goals Damo. So he's going to have to kick this from 45 with that. We call it a breeze, not a really strong wind, a breeze in his face. And that's the danger, isn't it, Indy, where you think it's play on a new act before the umpire calls it, and it costs you dearly.
So an instant reply looms now.
Okay, Damon Graham, ball in hand, spins it around a few times. Player in the goal square puts his hands up to say, kick it to me. Gee, that's a high kick. That is a massive kick, to be honest. Halfway up, he had no problem at all with that, Damon Graham. Got hold of it, and through that one goes. So they've kicked their third, and I'll tell you what, they've scored 10 goals in just over, well, you'd probably say 35 minutes of football, and that breaks the hearts of Hackham, and 5 points up at quarter time, 15 points up at half time with a home team, and look at that, 18 scoring shots to 11. Great work done by the volunteers down there. We're thanking them. Great scoreboard here that we can read clearly as well. And all the volunteers, of course, especially at all levels, but the lower level as OSB come out again. Around it comes now Hackham. Can they load up? They're on that far side. They've got to play a free. He's had to back a bit there, Ryan O'Leary. Takes it, and he's looking for play square. So he gets it across to Jeremy Cross, the captain. He goes, we've seen this diagonally. That seems to be the play that works. Gets it across, and I reckon that's Big Draper come back on the ground. He's been off for a little while. He's going to turn around, get a shot at goal. It is, and I'll tell you what, they missed him when he was off the ground. Comes back on, they diagonally pattern across Indy, and he's going to get a shot for goal. Draper lines up, very deliberate. Has that, so that wind's just caught them here. Bit of local ground knowledge would have been handy, and just drifted across the goal there. So we get a kick in.
Yeah, probably should have tossed up a bit of grass there just to fling it up.
Or chewed it.
Maybe. Find your own ways of reading the wind. Some people lick the finger, not many anymore.
Oh, look out. Danger.
Dangerous kick indeed. As well to back it up. That was very dangerous. Blake Muller, to be fair, he didn't get the best receive, but he took too much time to choose his final option. Now Jared Shaw, he's missed a couple of opportunities in front of goal today. Still hasn't registered his first. Good time to do it. Patient build up. He's got it.
Pretty happy about it too, just quietly.
Much better knowledge of the win than his receding teammates attempt. So can they get consecutive goals here as they manage to keep themselves in, but it's always the instant reply from OSB going the other way. Trend will have to change.
Well, I've talked about this, and I'm going to bring this up on our show. That is one of the most dangerous kicks in football. Either go square across, right across the park, or backwards or down the line, or whatever. But just that kick cross into that centre back position, the amount of times that can come undone. And I tell you what, Hackham are getting on top here. And Ryan O'Leary, again, he's had a few possessions this quarter, gets it out that far side, and that is Luke Allen, who's great to see. He talked about Press 7 Club to back themselves in with their skill, and I'll tell you what, they're going all right. Jared Shaw, he's just brought himself into the game, and he's going to line up very deliberate here. He's going to have to kick it to the right a little bit. Tell you what, they like it down there, and he's got his second there, Jared Shaw, in a short amount of time, and they've kicked three, so they've kicked 3-1 for the quarter, and OSB Lonsdale have kicked 3, and that brings us back to just within 20 points now. Passage of play, Indy, there. We said this in the first quarter, they were quite fast, Hackham. Thought they were really fast. Their use of the ball, and it shows when you can hit those targets, play by Hackham and sport them back into the game.
So now the margin just 14 points.
That's the player that playing in the ruck. I reckon he can jump over their ruckman. So good move here by the coaching staff.
Potentially a big move as well. So that had to really stretch the skin beyond belief to get that ball. And the chain of momentum could continue. Side be another instance where Hackham, after building a little bit at one end, just leak out at the other.
That piece of play by the two O'Loughlin's and that lead out by Austin Worst, you could see that at any level, local level, Division 1, through to Sample, even AFL. To see that passage of play and here to finish off, and he's kicked it over the post, I reckon.
Ball thrown back into play. Another brilliant tap there from Grosser, who's been winning the majority of the ruck battle today. Another ball up will ensue on the wing, as the sun pretty much gone here. Bit of overcast looms over the blue sky. Grosser managed to clear it out. Not the cleanest of clearances, but it does its job. Can his teammates continue that job? Ooh, big collision. And it'll be a free kick going OSB's way. No, going the other way. And a 25-metre penalty. So a bit happening off the field at the moment. And the OSB bench will traverse the ground, eventually halt to where his man on the mark resides. Luke Allen looks inward, positioned well for Christopher Smith, who we haven't called a lot of today, Christopher Smith, but he's a big bulkish body. He's always a welcome presence to the team, but that kick, not well.
Turn it over again now, Andrew Terry, and they come in. It's a nice handball to get that to a player. The Lonsdale get it down towards a one-on-one again. Fitzpatrick been a bit quiet this second effort there by the Hackham player. And that player's playing his second game of football today. He's played B grade and Broadstock. Oh boy. Oh, player coming front on. It's just getting a little bit willing at times here. A little bit unsavoury. And yeah, a little bit of push and shove. So that was Ryan O'Leary coming up with the ball over the top. Player takes off. He's going to have the Jets, Luke Allen. Hackham dangerous here. Players have to wait for that ball, and that's a hard thing to do. And he's dumped to the ground. The umpire says sling tackle, and he's having a very good game. As just as you mentioned too, young Bevan O'Loughlin in front of us, and Adam Rigney coming off for a spell. So we're sort of starting to see the signs of fatigue coming into the game, but O'Loughlin getting ready to come back on again now. Is another penalty just starting to creep in, a little bit of unsavoury stuff as Broadstock has to come off and have a rest now. So O'Loughlin gives the lead straight off the bench. He won't make it, but playing in front, they can't get it. The big ruckman comes through. It's up in the air. There's O'Loughlin fresh on the ground. Quick spell. Oh, nice little chip kick there attempt by Kyle Parkin. This is Malik O'Loughlin into the forward line. Up. Rigney can't come down. Oh, it's outside the worst. He tries to get around too. He can't do it. Hackham will be taking the free kick, but the big player down back there you can see limping has had a great game, and I hope he doesn't have to come off. He's heading straight towards the bench as we talk, as they're out the other side, Hackham, and they're really slowing it down, and we can see that player. That'll be pretty sad for Hackham if he can't get back on. He's had a great game down back.
Yeah, back to the middle of the ground it goes, courtesy of Luke Allen, who sent it there. And, yeah, Christopher Smith, the one coming off.
He's had a great game too.
Is holding the ball call here, going the other way. A dragged under the contest is what the umpire has claimed. OSB get the ball back. It's constant yo-yo football right now. Just going from one end back to the other, and clear marking infringement there. Got far too trigger happy. Luke Allen on the far side. Beautiful kick, but it should have been marked by Joseph Sinden. Butterfingers let it drop. And now he had to just kind of drag it back in legally this time, mind you, to get another ball up on the far side.
Malik O'Loughlin there, didn't he? Just come in there, tear away there. It's going to come out the back to him if he's not careful there. If Hackham aren't careful, but it's just a hack kick. Forward player takes it and takes it over the line. And Glenn Draper's been asked to do a fair bit today, and big player up forward. And as we said, Andrew Davies, the move from playing up forward to in the ruck. Just so he's going to take this tap here. Well, you can see having to come in here is young Ryan O'Leary. So they're down a ruckman by looks of things. One of the smaller players on the ground, and umpires giving, pardon me, just going to pull it up. Just see who goes up here. Now the ruckman comes in. It's Draper who's had to help out, which leaves them one shy down forward. Here's the resting ruckman up forward. Gets a push out. Can it bounce over the back? Oh, just fortuitously pushed through by Blake Muller. He's a couple of times today, Blake Muller's just taken off from the back line and done those runs. And I'll tell you what, it looks good when it takes off too. And nice kick on him. Have a look at this kick. It's reached all the way out to the painted ground here. And that's a good player. I'll tell you what, Bevan O'Loughlin, he's had a good game.
Fantastic contested mark. And the follow-up. Another great contested mark from Marcus O'Loughlin. Back-to-back O'Loughlin marks. Now for the Lions, as an uncontested position, Thomas Green finds a vacant man in the forward. Well, from Hackham's perspective, far too easy. And from the Lions' perspective, perfectly coordinated. No matter which side you stand on that, Damon Graham now has an opportunity for his second goal. Anxious state of this game. Approaching the 20-minute mark. OSB. Strike, and he strikes true. Damon Graham, after a stressful last few minutes, gives them an extra bit of fresh air.
That might have been Thomas Green, was it? Or what was Damon, sorry. Damon Graham. Yep, so that's his second as well. 4 goals for the quarter, 4-1 to 3-1. So they're just holding on to that buffer as we speak, Indy. And Jez, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get a couple of highlights from this game because that was great team play down this close side, and then they finished with a goal.
Coming into the Fitzpatrick, who hasn't been as impactful in this game as his earlier stages, but it's a good time to come back in with that clearance. Not the most effective. The Hawks trying to get out of trouble. They won't. It'll come into the hands of Grosser. He'll work with his teammates. He'll work with Morris. Morris will curve the ball back in with a snap. That tackle looked a little dangerous, to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Jeez, Robert O'Leary was on him, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a hot tackle. Difficult goal to make. Grosser snaps it all the way out on the fall, and has probably missed the goals by a good 15 metres.
So 12 goals, 880 to, what have we got, 9 goals, 660. So 20-point buffer again. So they really haven't broken away with it, OSB Lonsdale. We're 21 minutes into the quarter, and Hackham are going to get another kick here. If they can get a bit more of a run on, they can certainly hold their heads up high today. As we said, 2 players have played B grade, now coming in and playing A grade as well. So good to see that player come back on. By the look of it, Christopher Smith, and straight down the line, and guess what? Gives it straight back to Trent Grosser. He has had a mighty game today as well. We're going to have to perhaps tear the beanie up into about 8 pieces today, I reckon, Indy. So Grosser, look at him take his time, just waits for a player to drift in, and that looks like being Fitzpatrick, just as we call him earlier. introduces himself in on the game again. He too is looking to get players involved. Kicks it really into that hot spot. Out comes Rigney. Couldn't quite get a fly at it. He's had a fair few possessions here, Ryan O'Leary, but once again that dangerous kick across ground. And I tell you what, another player having a great game, Malik O'Loughlin, who's having a shot probably 30 metres out. Players actually get a chance to settle. You can see the ground bathed in sunshine. A few players exhausted today. Comes in, kicks it up high, straight, and they're very happy on the bench here. Broadstock celebrating right next to us as Malik O'Loughlin, kicks his second, and that's their fifth for the quarter as well.
Wow, so approaching the 23-minute mark, we could just see here some really good forward line traversal, and it looks like OSB just know how to find those spare options, but also know how to crumb after the pack has formed. There's a whistle in the middle here.
Just, I think, an official on the far side there talking to some people, and umpire's blowing the whistle. So we'll just have to sit and watch at this point and wait. Might just be a little bit close to the boundary or a bit of support, who knows. Anyway, that's not for us to judge. We're here to watch the game. The players are getting a pretty good break here. 23 and a half minutes in. I think it's just a matter of moving the seats maybe back a little bit further.
Some spectators just getting a little bit too invested in the game.
Yeah, I think it might just be the position of the seating. I hope they don't come over and see how close our caravan is. No, we're far back from the boundary. So I think it'll just be to do with that. Umpire, well, good to see the umpires adjudicate with them. Back on now, and game on again. Grosser in the middle doesn't really have an opponent, so they're out again, and that's great play there. Played his part today and kicks it forward. I'll tell you what, this will be hard for. Well, he's tried the impossible, put it back into a dangerous space, and walking through for a touchdown. Robert O'Leary. Oh, they're out the other side.
Yeah, Robert O'Leary wants to just get and go. Is there time for another in this quarter? The Hawks would hope so, because they've lost all the momentum that they desperately tried to get back. They put in the effort for it, but the execution a little lacking. Luke Allen, now well executed. That was not well executed, the kick. It's going to be another turnover in the corridor, but the numbers will say. Turns around, the drop punt bounces awkwardly, little tap on there from Dale Johns. It comes back to the Lions. That's not a very good kick, though. It's been turned over. Van Dyke dropped the mark, so he's going to have to reach out to some nearby support, but there isn't enough. Ball flickering out. Johns, he turns it over in the haze of everything. The Lions back with possession. Kick to the far wing. Misses the intended target by quite a few meters. It's going to come out goal side for the Lions. Just completely dragged off the ball there. Very unnecessary. And it looks like Dale Johns might be hurt a little bit off the ball as we're just getting a look here. He's clenching at that right arm. And
held for a long time too, that player, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, it might actually be holding his groin. I reckon that's probably the actual problem, regardless of what it is. Well, he stays out there. He had to take a leap. He got a handoff to a teammate. Sinden, his kick was smothered. The Lions, fantastic pressure, really saving them this game. Still under it, though. They haven't gone out of jail just yet. Long Scafidi missed the intended target. It's goal side in the corridor. The Lions will use that goal side. If they can get a good run on. Bradley couldn't catch him in time. Spaced out well was worse, but he didn't grab it. Then snapped over the top for a goal in the chaos. Austin Worst with his 20th goal for the year and his first for today.
Yeah, interesting. We haven't caught a lot of Austin Worst, and he has been in the goal scorers, so God help us if he actually does get going. So, yeah, well done to Lonsdale. And it's good reward for effort to get the ball down the ground and not see it come straight back out. So it's good for the midfielders and the centreline players to see that ball go through for a goal, because we're getting late into the quarter, 27-minute mark of the quarter. 60 plays 92, so 32-point buffer, and they kicked 7 goals in the second quarter. OSB Lonsdale, they kicked 7 goals in this quarter, so 14 goals across 2 quarters. That's a very good average they're running at as we speak, and around this way, that way. Oh, great. Just a lunging tackle on the Hackham player. Geez, the second player had to duck into Big Grosser. That's hard to do. They're out again. This player, I've been impressed with him. Just that little kick. He gets it probably deep into the pocket. He worse is going to have to work. Two big blokes going at it. This way, that way. And siren goes. And we have the score at 14 goals 9 to 9 goals 6. We will take a short break and be back with the big last quarter.
Nine News teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
We're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend
be with your club logo. Like you mentioned a marquee or a flag or anything like that, anything that you can pop design department with two graphic design.
And here at 318 326 St. Vincent Street.
And it really does show they're just sharing the love right now. Tony will be back with us in a little bit. He's gone in to listen on in one of the huddles, particularly the Hackham Hawks huddle, to see can they change the course of this game, somehow pull off a miracle. 33 points might just be too much for it, but it's been an exciting match nonetheless, regardless of how it ends. The next quarter will be incredibly intriguing to inspect. Umpire making his way towards the middle. There's those spectators in the background who've well and truly moved at the moment. A lot of deck chairs have disappeared from that end of the ground and can't see them anymore. That's because earlier in the quarter the umpires actually told them to move back a little bit because they were starting to just peep on the ground. Nevertheless, the fourth quarter underway. The Hawks need to get out with the first centre clearance, and they do. Bradley, not the most effective of kicks. Lions on the rebound once again. Yes, it will be. And through the kicking ability of Marcus O'Loughlin, he spots out a teammate. Gets and goes, Damon Graham. You like the look at the one-on-one down deep in the defense. Comes out. Again, O'Loughlin getting involved. He decided to hand pass back and eventually lost it through the confusion of traffic. But the Hawks keep bringing the pressure. They eventually get possession back, clearing it down the line, and they got goal side too. So this is a big opportunity for Glenn Draper if he can kick it out to his man effectively. Not quite. Christopher Smith has found his way up forward. Oof. Big hand pass from Delvo. He finds a teammate, and unfortunately, Jared Shaw's shot at goal, not the most effective. The first score at the quarter, but it won't do the Hawks too much good.
They brought big Christopher Smith on. He's playing up forward, but he's pretty much on one leg there. You can see him with his arm in the air. He tried to do that soccer goal, but mighty effort for him just to come back on and try and play out the game. I did go out to the huddle at three-quarter time. Just come back to that in a moment as this nice kick comes in from OSB Lonsdale. They all fly up, big pack, and coming through another O'Loughlin again. That was, I'd say that was Malik, who I believe is only playing his first or second game down here. Actually, that was Marcus. So he's gone outside now, which you don't mind on a day like this when they're playing well. Nyland Court it was. Big fist comes through from Shane Green, as we've mentioned. Mighty effort by the young man. He's playing 2 games in one day, which you often see down here. So well done to that young man. So the players were doing a lot of the talking at three-quarter time, and very impressed by the coach in Michael Dean. Really picked out a lot of players and talked up how they played, what they were up to, what they were doing. Really big quarter by Damon Graham that last quarter. That's number 11 as well. So very good coaching by both coaches today. Been very impressed with how they've gone about it. And a lot of the players can hold their heads up high in how they've conducted themselves. As it comes forward again, poor old Smith can't get going on that one leg, but he puts a contest in. And sometimes that's all you need because they get a hold up here. And dangerous territory, about 45 out for Hackham. If they can get a glide by here, goes out the back of the pack. They had Jeremy Cross running across the front of the pack. What's happened now? Number 4, Cross, has gone forward of the ball, I reckon. So it's up again. It goes that territory. That's a big punch forward. Big Chris Smith can't get out. So Hackham, which is just a hack kick out. And I'll tell you what, they've got numbers here, Hackham. Oh, very well done, young man. But gets across. Very clever by Luke Allen. Chips it out. Tell you what, player plays on. Oh, this way, that way. Does he? Yes, he does. And I reckon that looks like Ryan O'Leary. But we'll wait till he turns around. No, of course, that's Jared Shaw, who he's kicked his third, Indy, and playing his role today. Can hold his head up high, and he does enjoy a goal, doesn't he?
Absolutely. It's really just the inability to establish consecutive goals here for the Hawks will be what probably determines the game against their favour. But at the same time, you can definitely look at this functioning forward line and say they've got a structure, they've got a blueprint, and there's some positives to take out of this game regardless. Hopefully, in the small chance that it will spark something, the Hawks can continue the run of momentum. This next centre clearance will be an important determining piece of that. Umpire to ball up, still in the centre circle here. Ooh, big collision, but no one coming out with the ball. Ryan O'Leary trying to get some good midfield presence here, and a bit of sling tackle motion going on behind the ball. There's been a call for a free kick that'll be going, I believe, OSB's way. OSB players are asking for it. In fact, it's going to be called down the field. No? It'll be in the hands instead of Sean Morris. No, he will be giving it back. Okay, so we'll go back to the initial position. Taylor Hobson instead. to take the call.
A lot of toing and froing here as see the player coming down deep now. Interesting, Jared Shaw's come down deep because another player, Alex Pascoe's come on, so shifting of players while that was all happening, Indy.
Well, definitely at the very least it gives the Hawks defence enough time to set up. Will that prove itself though? Will the setup be enough? Bradley missed his intended target by hand. Big collision past everyone. Van Dijk rushed kick towards the wing. Didn't bounce favourably for the intended target either. Now it's Marcus O'Loughlin under a lot of pressure. He gets around one tackler. He goes and takes the kick himself. Trying to get it forward here. The Lions run into too much trouble.
Ooh.
Oh, but the Hawks equally so, and they're penalised for it. Nigel Van Dijk. Advantage is played, and now the finish from Sean Morris is not there.
Gee, that was quick too. There was a little bit of byplay going on down back here. Did they move it quick from midfield to forward line? And I tell you what, OSB Lonsdale, if they want to play in the finals this year, go back and watch some of these passages of play because it's been very impressive how quickly these players get it on. And that balk there by Marcus O'Loughlin, very clever on tied legs. Luke Allen, he runs inboard, tries to set it up for Hackham, but I tell you what, he's just pumped that a little bit too hard. And nice little grab by Richard Hall. We haven't called a lot of him, but players are all playing their part and kicks it back to a dangerous position. This player's been very impressive today. Ryan Fitzpatrick, geez, I tell you what, you give him a wrap, and that's what happens. Is it a set play? Oh, player waiting on his own in the square. Big Austin Worston, that's going to take 20 minutes to get that football back. So he has kicked his second, just standing out the back of the pack. Was that a set play? We will never know. He's happy. He's kicked his goal. And as I said, that defence by OSB Lonsdale, they'll pick the pocket. They put pressure on the ball carrier. They get it back. They move it down. Here it is here. He's out the back. Goes the big barrel. Look at that. Goal umpire just stands and looks and says, gee, that's a long way back, that one. That's out on Sheriff's Road. But it's the answer they need, Indy, and that takes them up to the 100 points. As I said, they scored 7 goals in the third quarter and 7 goals in the second.
Will this be another loss for Hackham where they've conceded triple digits? They'd hope not, but it seems more and more likely that'll be the case. OSB get it forward again. Under a lot of pressure there to get rid of it was Ganley. Coming out to the wider side now. Ball in the Hawks' hands.
They show passages, don't they? This is very impressive football, possession football. Sindon it was, got that kick on.
Lachlan Bradley into the forward line. Looked like he wanted to get a man on goal side. That won't actually happen. Kick around the body now from what looked like Hodge. Didn't work to full effect. Comes out wider. Down the spine, but it's been intercepted. Robert O'Leary, who could still say he's had a pretty good game today. Not his best, not from the top shelf, but a very good game nonetheless. It's going to come out goal side here, but the Lions are going to be the first ones on it. Long Scafidi knew what to do. Oh, went straight into the corridor, but the high tackle just far too high. It'll get the ball up. Joseph Sindon to look forward, assess the options. Off he goes with the drop hunt. Pack forms. Man at the front nearly managed to clutch it. Not quite. Big tackle coming out. Attempt at goal potentially for the Hawks. It will be as long as Glenn Draper can drill it through as he's expected to. And he does. Joins the goal kicking list for Hackham.
Thought he was going to go over and have a chat to the goal umpire. Then he's kicked it and kept running. I think that's called perpetual motion, Indy, when you actually can't pull yourself up. And he ran about 5 metres behind the goal umpire. There we go. Look, here he is. Receives it like a rover. He kicks from about 20 out. Look, he just keeps running. On. There he goes. Behind the goal umpire. Ha! Oh, dear. I tell you what, the synergy here with the O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale players is very good as well. A lot of communication. Look at that, 15-10 to 11-7. So 25 scoring shots to 18. And they're 27 points up on the scoreboard. Ball in the middle. Big Grosso goes to the leap. Doesn't have to because the ball just drops down for him. Umpires, I think the umpires, by the way, have done a fantastic job today. Been very fair. well, around the corner there by Ryan O'Leary. Very lackadaisical, but why wouldn't you when you've got the big fella up here again? And I reckon that's Draper. He's been good up there. I mentioned himself and Andrew Davies at times. Davies has kicked 3. Draper's been a good link man as well. And you kick to like that, he'll either give you a good contest or he'll take the big mark. So Draper, longer kick this time. And just offline there. So 1 point to Hackham on this occasion. They go on to 11 goals 8 as we speak. And, I tell you what, I thought he was going to go the barrel there. He doesn't need to. That is a super long kick. There's a player gone down behind play there. But that player got back to his feet and he's up. And great support here. 1, 2 players there and over it comes. Just clever tap on. They've run on really well here. Player runs into an open goal almost. He was under a lot of pressure though. And that was Kyle Parkin. But, wow, quick transition from one end of the ground to the other, and that's going to hold them in good stead maybe later on in the season.
Didn't even realise it registered a score. Just managed to sneak through for a point. Maybe the kick not so deserving of it, but regardless, the Lions well deserving of this lead. And that kick-in suggests why, because the interception has been taken by Andrew Terry.
Loved his game today, Indy.
Absolutely. So have I. I think we both share that mutual opinion as now the Lions looking for some crumbs. Big kick on the outside. Trent Grosser finds a target, and it's Taylor Hobson.
I'll tell you what, this will be a reward for effort if this lad kicks this. He did that impressive pick up in front of us earlier in the day. I think he's played a great game. We talk about playing your role. He's put together some really good, courageous passages of play.
So this could be arguably one of his better moments because he hasn't hit the scoreboard yet. He has now. The Lions in control of this game.
Yeah, well done, young man. Good reward for effort for that young lad. As I said, been industrious today as well as we see Rigney coming off. So Trevor Rigney, that'll be coming off. And Adam Rigney will go on, as well as the big fella here, number 23, Jack Singleton. He's going to have to run like anything to get here. We can get him sprinting in there. He's going to have to rush pretty full bore there to get into the middle. He does so now. He's going to have to jump up. Umpire with a sense of theatre gives the ball back to Hackham. What a build-up. What a let down. And Davies goes bang on the left foot into that centre. Hackham, can they get an answer? It's goal for goal here. Ball bobbling around now. Oh, just that little fist of that ball done there by the O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale player. And we get a throw in. Well, what a build-up. Fair income, Indy. And Big Davies was all set. And he was breathing fire, Jack Singleton. He was set to go. Well, let's have another look at him, see if they go here. He's up against a different opponent, and he has to come from behind. There's that player that kicked the last goal. Now he's down back, as we said, playing his role. I tell you what, here, around the corner, pressure. And the umpire's there goes a player just down next to the umpire as well. So a little bit of fatigue coming in as Hackham register a point. They've actually won the quarter with that point, so 2-3 to 2-2. And, well, they're just not fading away. They're hanging in there.
Yeah, approaching the 14-minute mark, they would have to put together perfect football now. Can't even really afford to concede possession at all, especially ones like this that turn out to be really damaging as Thomas Green sends it forward. No mark taken. Dragged to turf, maybe underneath by Austin Worst. Umpire knew he did that, so it will be a free kick against Worst. Kick instead taken by Andrew Davies, who's actually moved into defensive territory here, so that's a bit unordinary. The Lions now back with possession on the wing after a turnover, and here's Davies again playing in the defense. So this is an interesting magnet switch. I reckon they tossed Smith up forward and they said Davies has to go down back, and it's not going to be quite enough to get them over the line, but they have put together some play in the corridor here. Can they cap it off with something? Not an entry like that. Got to pass the Crummers. Maybe sell some candy. No, just runs straight into a brick wall. Or more like a truck because it was coming straight at him. That was a fantastic tackle, and Jared Shaw just had no response.
Yeah, he had to do a lot of work there, didn't he? He ended up going back Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale's way, so just no support to give it off to. Players going down like 10 pins out there, but I tell you what, the effort, there's another player, Sinden, couldn't quite get to it. Oh, big tackling. I tell you, this is as good as the first quarter, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's had an outstanding game out there. Just kicks it down forward. They keep their feet. Player hurdles one player. Oh, no, player down. Looks like he's done his leg. That's a great attempt at a point, and that's sad to see, but no, it's not too sad because it's called cramp. With all due respect, I'd rather see cramp than a crook knee. So they've scored their point as well. So scores are equal in this last quarter. So Hackham have stopped the avalanche. It was 14 goals to 7 over the second and third quarter. Oh, just good vision, high up in the air, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're going to have to think about our best on ground, but we keep looking at different players as we're going through, and that's a nice kick. Use of the ball as well. It's one thing to get it, but how you use it as well. And he's just probably got himself a game for next week. Playing so well. Kicking to Sean Morris. So Sean Morris hasn't had a mountain of possessions, but when he does, he glides by. He's got the fast running. So comes in now. And does it come around? Does it ever? And that is Sean Morris's second goal for the game. Very well done. And a happy camp next to us on the right as we are 16, almost 17 minutes in. And a 33-point buffer now to our Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale. So, ball back in the middle of the ground.
Next throw in. It's nice to have them throwing in amateur leagues like this and not having to wait for those ugly centre bounce recalls that we get so much in the major league. The Hawks under the pump. Oh, trying to get around too much traffic. Probably shouldn't have stepped off the mark. Robert O'Leary eventually found his way out, but then stepped straight back into trouble. Fitzpatrick hit a target as well. Beating the ball to turf in this instance. Another star for the Lions, especially on a day like this. It will be the opportunity to finish now for Malik O'Loughlin. All of the O'Loughlins have had some sort of involvement today, and honestly, you could split the votes between the family, but wow, we got a lot of big names to consider. This shot, approaching the 18-minute mark. More icing on the cake to come, and this one, a very nice coat of it. 3 goals.
Young Malik O'Loughlin playing a great game. I think it was him they were talking about. It's only his first or second game, I think, down here. So the O'Loughlins are all related, cousins and uncles and so on. And they do have that magic about them. They put together the different pieces of play. We saw a goal to goal at one coast to coast at one point, and then another player finishing it off. So they're all playing well. Up in the middle now. Oh, can't quite get it out. It falls fortuitously to Bevan O'Loughlin, who follows that ball in from the ball up. Look at the Hackham players run forward of the ball, and well done there, Jeremy Cross, the captain. As I say, that kicks it on the full, so he's not too happy with himself there. So post-game, of course, we've got all the awards. So the best players from each team will be awarded a medal from the opposition coaches, and we'll also have Shane and Troy Bond awarding those medals. Our voting will be different, of course. We'll pick our beanie winner and best on ground, who'll win the Archie's thongs and the Dartfish beanie. And we've got probably 8 players in contention. There's some from both teams as well, Indy. So that'll be an interesting one to vote on. Ball goes up now. Trying to get onto it is Jeremy Cross. He's played a very good game. But I'll tell you what, O'Loughlin, isn't he? A sneaky little player around the corner. That's a nice kick to a one-on-one. And the Dukes go up. And Damon Graham playing his role.
Everybody playing their role at the moment for the Lions. Especially this man, who we once again haven't seen too much of today, Austin Worst. But he is their leading goal kicker for the year. He's got 21 goals so far. This for his 22nd. And this would take him up potentially to the top 5 on the not all-time goal-kicking list, but the seasonal goal-kicking list, we should say. And he does get another major. So that's his 3rd for the day. He hasn't had the biggest of days, but he's had his moment here. Going over the 20-minute mark, of course, we look forward to providing you with post-game coverage, courtesy of Tony Neal, who will be interviewing the best player on ground, which is deemed by the media team for the Roll the Dice Media Player of the Year award. But still a fair way off of that. Right now, it's just joy and celebration for the Lions and probably taking early notes if you're a Hackham Hawks fan. Back in the middle. Hobson. Very nice kick there from Broadstock. This margin's suddenly growing much bigger and bigger than what the course of the game is suggesting, but the Hawks might get a little bit of a halt here. Out they go. Big kick. Comes out. Oh, ran straight into trouble. They've done that a few times today, the Hawks, and they're going to pay badly because Kyle Parkin kicks to the pocket, and the mark is just completed by Trent Grosser, who will be able to kick a major from here. His 2nd, although the angle will testify him. Not the most pleasant of angles to be kicking. He went with the in under. He nearly went through. Not quite in this instance, but then getting the high tackle free will give them pretty much a guaranteed goal here. And wow, a bizarre passage of play results in Kyle Parkin looking for his 1st goal. This late into the quarter, this late into the game to take the margin up to 7. He does. Well, at the very least, Trent Ross's name will go down for a goalless style, bit of an awkward one. But at the very least, the Lions have a lot of great names today.
5 goals again this quarter, and it starts to just blow out a little bit there, 25 plus 32, so it's becoming a pretty good win. Look at that, 32 scoring shots to 20, so well done to OSB Lonsdale. There we are, Indy, look at that, the magnificent filming footy vision there, as well as all the coaches from both sides. As the ball comes out again, 22 and a half minutes in, tired legs. O'Loughlin has to stop and go back. There's always that extra one. Ryan Fitzpatrick's played a great game as well. Up and down, a very precise kick there. Oh, it beats everyone there, Damon Graham's kick. And, it's just kept in play and not quite. So, umpire will come around and going to just throw this in as young Bevan O'Loughlin's had a great game, walks past us here and well-deserved rest once again. He's played a mighty game on this wing. Around it comes. Up and down now, tired legs. Oh, player standing still, gives it to another player standing still. He doesn't take it, he just taps it on. Hackham, they're doing these 45-degree handballs forward and playing in front. That's the advantage again. Draper, Glenn Draper, he's had a very good game as well, apart from one little blemish where he got sent off. But he's actually the co-coach, so he's coaching on the ground. They go forward now through Jeremy Cross. That's a nice kick. Last line of defence, and it is one of those games, Indy, we say all played well. And Blake Muller, how many times we've seen him on that last line of defence, and almost getting tingles up the spine here watching O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale today. Really great team effort as the ball comes across now. Just up and down there a little bit. He's had a great game as well. Andrew Terry, I've liked him. Precise kick here. They can't take it. Players are gliding by, but he just tries to push off. Gives it back to Hackham there under pressure. This precision football, really impressed. Luke Allen there it was. Gives it across to Jared Shaw, who's been everywhere. And as we talk about precision football, gives it up. Marcus O'Loughlin, look at that kick. Ryan, look at this. This is beautiful football at this level. And then as soon as I say it, the handball goes out. There were nice 3 or 4 kicks there. And it's a Hackham free down the ground, but there are patches in this game as a football purist just to watch and say, gee, this is good football here. Well, he's a long way out. I reckon this is our player that came back on after doing his knee, Luke Allen. He slipped earlier in the game. Look at this, precise kick into the leading forward, and Nice by the player to get back and fill that hole, because that takes courage. And that is Andrew Terrier's. Anthony Bernhardt, the president of OSB Lonsdale, very happy gliding by as we speak. Knows they've got it in the bag. Taylor Hobson called the play on. Smother here. Ball goes up. Oh, a player from Hackham can't. He can't run towards it, but it almost comes to him. He's put the effort in. It's not going to come back. He's not going to be able to get around there. This way, that way. Oh, geez. Taken the ground there. And I think it's going to be a free, is it? To Hackham. It is. Late in the game. Looks like Jared Shaw with tired legs there. We saw a great goal kicked by Trent Grosser, earlier in the game from this very position, Indy. Will we see it again from the opposition?
For a match-high 4 goals as well. So one positive to take out from a Hackham perspective.
Yeah, sorry.
He's not in the conversation for leading goal kickers in the competition
touched
right now, and that one is just touched. So it's actually Glenn Draper, who going into this game had 17 goals for Hackham. He was their leading goal kicker, and he hasn't had the biggest of days, just the 1 goal for himself, but his teammates have stood up, at least from the forward line perspective, although it's too little at the moment, unfortunately. Now playing off of full-back, Sullivan Beach. Going to go with a long kick down the line. Intercepted, though, by Luke Allen, who's faded out of the game. He's had his moments, though, from time to time. Hand pass, misfired once again. Lost in translation. The lines will go forward. Off of the boot there of Sean Morris. Stumbles forward, not able to get onto the end of it in time. And once again, trying to bite off too much more than they could chew. That's going to be called a dangerous tackle, though, because there was too much of a sling motion in that one. Kicked out wide here. Saved up by Lachlan Bradley. Kicked further along. And that will just about do us the game. It will. 132 points to 77. The scoreboard margin does not suggest the amount of excitement that we had, particularly in the earlier stages of this game. It was a hard, grueling fight, but ultimately the Lions have demonstrated why they think they're a good finals chance.
I'll tell you what, Indy, what a magnificent game as we see both coaches shake hands here in front of us and very friendly amongst them. Fantastic display of football. Now, what's going to happen here? We've got some celebrations, some awards to be going on. We're going to go out and we'll take the microphone out. So, Indy, you're going to just go through some things here in the commentary position. Your analysis of the game, the goal scorers and so on. I think I may have missed one for OSB Lonsdale, but we'll leave you to do that. I'm going to head down and chase up our best player, and we'll keep that a surprise until we announce that. And the players are going to be getting the awards as well for the inside. So I'll leave you with it, and we'll come back in a moment with a lot of the awards and wrap up of the game.
Thank you very much, Tony. We'll see you in a little bit. In the meantime, we'll just go over some honourable mentions, I suppose, from the losing team, the Hackham Hawks, because they did have quite a few admirable names. Jared Shaw, Andrew Davies, all with 3 goals each. Luke Allen had some early impact, got 2 goals in the first half, and that was huge to the team's chances of getting back into the match after momentum slipped. But unfortunately, his absence arguably resulted in the team's absence. We'll also say that Glenn Draper didn't have his best day out, but he had forward presence. And, well, I was overall very pleased with Robert O'Leary's performance, and I think that it was a very sincere one. Unfortunately, it was really just the Hawks getting lost in translation during those defensive 50 to forward 50 transitions and some ugly turnovers down the corridor, but definitely some positive notes to take out of today. Of course, goal kickers, we're looking now for Lonsdale, Sullivan Beach. Ryan Fitzpatrick got 2 goals early. Malik O'Loughlin got 3 goals, and speaking of O'Loughlin's getting goals, he was the only O'Loughlin to get goals. Riley Broadstock with 1, Blake Bainbridge with 1, Austin Worst with
2. Still the leading goal kicker for the year, though, for this team, with 21 majors now after this game. Damon Graham with 2. Taylor Hosbin got a goal for himself later in the match. Trevor Rigney with 2, and he's the other leading goal kicker, so he's just behind Worst now by 1 goal. 21 goals to 20, 41 between the two for the year. Trent Grosser managed to get a goal, the ruckman and the captain, the co-captain in fact, alongside Adam Rigney, who didn't get any goals today, sadly. But Sean Morris also managed to snap 2 majors, and, well, goal kickers once again, as we mentioned earlier for Hackham. 1 for Jeremy Cross, 2 for Luke Allen, 1 for Alex Devlow, 3 for Jared Shaw, 3 for Andrew Davies, and then 1 for Glenn Draper. It's not a long list. There's quite a bit of impact coming from those players on the list, and ultimately really well done. But as the sun sets here on O'Sullivan Beach, Lonsdale, we can see that, well, this game become a much more concluded result towards the back end of it. But it's still been a fantastic experience being here today, and obviously we have everybody involved with this event to thank for that, because there's just been so much preparation going into this annual event. We always have it all capital letters on the calendar because it's a huge event for Indigenous football and football in general across the country. But it's very nice to have matches like this and reconciliation round to remind us of the land that we stand on, the people who own it, and more importantly, what we owe them and the privilege that they have allowed us to have, being able to unite in harmony after many, many generations that were once stolen from them. But we're very privileged to be here, and we thank all of the effort that our Indigenous citizens here in Adelaide, and the ones especially at this game, have put into events like this. And we obviously cherish a lot of what they've offered us. We're very privileged to be on this land of Australia, especially here today in this territory. So to all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people involved with this event, we send you our very heavy thanks. And we're just getting a look towards the middle now as they're going to announce their winner for their separate Best On Ground award, and it'll be a surprise as to who we bring in, because Tony, once again, likes a little bit of surprises here from time to time, although he didn't pull out the banana cake today. That was a surprise for me, because if you are what you eat, he would absolutely be prepackaged banana cake. So we're just getting a look at the ceremonies at the moment, and we're also waiting for Tony to get his very excited hands on the Best On Ground player, who will be rewarded with a Dartfish beanie and the Archie thongs, our 2 official sponsors for the day, along with many others, which Tony Neal has made mention to earlier in the match. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of admirable names to pick from when it comes to perspective of the O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Lions, because you can look at the different players that featured in separate courses of the game, like Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you ask me at halftime who's the best player, Ryan Fitzpatrick easily. But that second half, others pulled into it. And tell you what, the O'Loughlin family, it was really a great family effort, although it's worth noting that one of the O'Loughlins on the team sheet, Bevan O'Loughlin, was spelt in all caps, while the other 2 with basic lowercase. Just taking a look here once again, because there were a lot of late list changes from both teams as well, so they weren't going in with their desired best 22s.
What a great battle between 2 great sides, 2 great clubs. Put your hands together, guys, for the Hackham Footy Club and the Southern Beach Lonsdale Footy Club. Well done. Commiserations to Hackham, but you put up a good fight, and it was good footy to watch. Thank you. Before we get on to the medals presentations, I'd like to ask Rowie, the president of the Hackham Football Club, up to say a few words. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today and having a look at this. A very important day, a great day set up by Anthony and his team down here, and we're pretty privileged to be a part of it, so thank you very much. To the footy team, Lonsdale, you know, brilliant day today. Like, they ran over the top of us. We just didn't have the legs in the end, and they'll go a long way this year, so well done for them. Our boys, you know, we know where we're at. We know what we've been up against, so to have a 100% crack today, you know, hats off to you, well done. And thanks for Dartfish and the boys for coming down and live streaming, and enjoy your day tonight.
Thanks, Rory. So for the Hackham, the best player for the Hackham Football Club today goes to number 10, Jared Shaw.
This is a huge honour on a special day. I want to thank Lonsdale for hosting and being a good sport, and everyone that came out and the sponsors. So yeah, cheers.
And for the Sullivans Beach Lonsdale Football Club, the best on ground, number 17, Andrew Terry.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out here, the crowd, the people who organised it, and Hackham especially. A round of applause. I'd like to thank Anthony for making this all possible. This wouldn't happen if we didn't have someone like him stepping up. And yeah, thank you for the boys. Let's see how good we go this year.
Before we sign off, I'd like to officially thank Dartfish TV for their support this year and many years before. And I'd like to acknowledge the people who are watching at home, across Australia and internationally. So thank you for joining us, and thank you Dartfish TV and the Adelaide Footy League. Thank you. Stay around, we've got a DJ on tonight, a bit of douche, all right? So, all right, a bit of fun. Douche, a lot of that going on, apparently. All right. Thank you, everyone. This concludes our presentations. Thank you.
Lovely stuff to see, and obviously it's very rare in football that we have awards given to individuals on both the winning and losing side, but I think it's a very welcome gesture and something that we don't see too often in sports, but it's very nice, I think, to admire the efforts of both teams, and especially with the efforts that go into days like this. I think it'd be very hard not to recognise both the clubs for making a contribution. Yes, it's at O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Oval, but the Hackham Hawks have been doing this for years across the Southern Football League and now in Div 7 at the Adelaide Footy League. But we're going to go to Tony Neal now because he's got our pick for best player on the ground alongside him.
Well, here we are, folks, with Trent Grosser, the best on ground for O'Sullivan's Beach Lonsdale, as voted by the commentary team. Trent, thanks for joining us once again. Mate, great team effort out there today.
Yeah, definitely was. Yeah, we needed a team effort today because they really put it to us today, and we've probably had half our squad this week been crooked during the week and not out on the track. So a few boys struggling and a few laid out. So yeah, really needed a team effort to get over the line today.
Tell us about the synergy and the communication out there, because we were right next to the coach's bench and players were clapping and cheering from the bench. There was a lot of talk. At three-quarter time, some of the players spoke as well as the coach, who spoke very well. Tell us what that's like now playing, because the team's been down and out for a few years. To be playing, you're a big chance for finals. To play in a team now and hear that sort of culture and feeling going on around the place, what's it like?
Yeah, it's real good. Obviously, yeah, the club struggled a bit of late. This year we've got a lot of young kids that have come in and they haven't had that exposure to the down times. So they're just up and about and really excited, and I guess they bring the energy to us older guys out there.
Mate, you set them up in the middle of the ground. We spoke before the game and you said you're probably going to just walk around a bit. You had a lot of running in the first half, a lot of running around the ground. And it's not just your ruck work, you protect where that ball comes in, but it's your marking, your handballs, your kicking, your set up goals as well. Just take us through that, the amount of work that you do and setting up the players around you to receive that ball.
Yeah, I suppose I've played footy for a long time. I'm one of the oldest guys out here, so I've played high-level footy for a long time. So just the experience and just coaching those younger guys, just where to stand, where to run, and just getting in as a group before ball ups and everything, and so everyone's on the same page.
Now, Trent, just on finishing, mate, first of all, the Dartfish beanie, you can and the Archie thongs. We've got a pair of size 14. We might have to chase even bigger up.
Yeah, no,
that's the look. Just the whole team's over there, but it was about this spot that you ran in and kicked the goal. We want to send that bit of footage to a lot of the AFL clubs out there, mate. It was a perfect drop punt. You were quite relaxed. You walked in, kicked the goal, and you just said, well, that's what I do. How did that feel, and is there anything special about your preparation for that type of kick?
Yeah, that was my first goal for the year, actually. So I've been in the goals, played a lot of footy up forward, and yeah, haven't sort of got on the scoreboard too much this year, so that was the first one. But yeah, I've just got a basic routine and just line up the goals and a few steps and on the boot, guide it down, and yeah, pretty simple.
Well, Trent, a player is measured by the games they play in the big games. You're the best on ground today for Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale. It's been fantastic by your whole club to get us down there. We know you're a co-captain. You've represented your family, your club and the region fantastically today, mate. You're a worthy winner. Thank you very much. Enjoy the celebrations tonight. And thanks so much for joining us.
No worries. Thanks very much. And yeah, we will.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for that, Tony, and congratulations to Trent Grosser, our pick for the Roll the Dice Media Player of the Year award today. He's won the beanies and the thongs, as you can see there, and it's always a really welcome award. Sure, it doesn't have the same value as silverware, but the novelty of it is very cozy, as you'll always see. And congratulations to the O'Sullivan Beach Lonsdale Lions team. You can see them all in the background there, just having a blasting time, but I reckon now we're going to take an ad break and we're going to come back for our outro alongside Tony Neal.
9 News, teaming up with the Adelaide Footy League. Tom Wren on the ground at your club for Thursday Night Live, strengthening communities through footy.
Well, folks, we're down here at the Banner Crew. Our friend, supporter and sponsor of Between the Posts has joined us. Welcome, Jason Goods.
Thanks, Tony. Nice to be with you.
What can the people out there expect to buy from the Banner Crew and get looked after?
Pretty much anything that you can put your club logo on, or a message from the club, whether it be, like you mentioned, a marquee or a flag or an A-frame or a banner, a stubby holder, a pen, anything like that, anything that you can pop the club branding on. Everything's customisable. So basically we've got an in-house design department with 2 graphic designers that can work toward getting the message across that you're after.
We're down here at 318 to 326 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide. Jason, thank you so much for your support.
Welcome back to our live stream for the day. This Division 7 Indigenous Reconciliation Week match has definitely been a privilege and a treat to be part of. And Tony, I think you'd agree with me. You look like you're having the time of your life out there.
Well, I don't want it to end, Indy. I wish they'd have another quarter fair income. It's a sensational day. I know we keep saying it. Don't take it lightly. When Isaac plays the Utica and that sound goes through, it sets you up for the day. I'm excited on the way here. We get to the ground, we get a great presentation at the start and recognition, reconciliation round. O'Sullivan's Beach, Lonsdale and Hackham, take your hats off. Great representation of themselves, their clubs and their region down here, Indy. Football is the way the players presented themselves was absolutely outstanding. Anthony Bernhard, I can't talk up enough. I know he has a lot of people down here, but Anthony Bernhard has done a fantastic job for the last few years. He's always helpful with how the day's going to run, what's going to happen on the day, and how the day goes. As the president, he does a mighty job down here, as we said, with his support staff. The two coaches, we've got Glenn Rowe, of course, who was also the president at Hackham. He helped us so much leading into the day with the interviews and just the explanation. And Michael Dean from OSB Lonsdale. To get access to them, Indy, for yourself to be able to interview those coaches pre-game, and that's only all the pre-game stuff, let alone the game itself. How did you see the game?
Well, the game itself started really excitingly, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by the Hackham Hawks in that first quarter. I thought they were putting together a blueprint that had all of the makings of a winning performance, but everything after that was all the Lions. And look, to be fair, there was a lot of grinding and gritty physicality in the second and third term, which kept the Hawks in the game, but slowly the margin on the scoreboard just got bigger and bigger. Overall class definitely shows that they are anxious for a finals berth.
Well, they kicked 7, 7 and 6 in the last three quarters. Might have been thereabouts. So really good, strong last three quarters. But Hackham, as we said, 2 players came in that played 2 games. They had 7 players out. We don't make excuse. You have to play with what you've got. So what a mighty effort for them to put that up. I guess just that last quarter was where they really got blown off the park. But those 3 quarters by OSB Lonsdale, very impressive. If they want to play finals, there's some highlights I've really taken out of today's game. Some passages of play. We saw the 3 O'Loughlin's combine and kick that goal. There was the goal by Grosser down here in the pocket. There's some passages of play that they can take out of this and use as highlights and show their players what they're capable of doing, because they will shake up this competition.
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like a match such as this definitely makes a statement for both teams, and thereabouts where they're at. One of them has finals ambitions, and Hackham, they've still got a lot of work to do, with plenty of positives to take out of a game like this. You have to be looking at the next couple of weeks and thinking, now we just got to bring it back to the defensive play. This is another game we can see 100 plus points in. It's time to dial down the motions, start with the basics in defense, not just the transition game, but also preventing the opposition's transition.
Yeah, they were in it for 2.5 quarters, weren't they? And you get it down forward and you want to kick a goal, not get it down forward and get it to come back out. But they're actually doing that back to the opposition as well. Their pinpoint kicking at times, we mentioned through the game, was very good. Fatigue sets in late in the quarters or late in the game. Turnovers are costly. Both teams did that little kick back into 45 into centre back position, so I'll highlight that maybe on the show through, like a lot of teams do it. Mate, first of all, for our viewers out there, don't forget to watch Between the Posts. Our weekly show is absolutely fantastic. We have different division specialists come in from time to time. I know you've co-hosted as well, Indy. We enjoy doing it. We do it with the communities. Some of our sponsors today, I'll have to hold the sheet up because there's so many. We've got Sports Interactive, are fantastic with us. 9 News, Dartfish and Filming Footy. The background of all of these presentations are fantastic. Moseley Bar and Grill, Filming Footy, Roll the Dice, Sportal, Banner Crew, Sportal especially with the scoreboards. Thank them for all their help with all this. They've got fantastic interactive scoreboards that they've got going on. Banner Crew, Archies. Make sure ratify. You're going to hear a lot about for coaches putting up their accreditations and that when they're applying for jobs, and for make sure in the corporate world and the sporting world in regards to getting all your compliance stuff together on one platform, and they can really help out. Programs to fit, we can't talk too much about, that's my own business, but no, we help out a lot of the coaches with the mentoring and that. Then we get into, of course, the Buddy Bet. Indy, I'll pass it over to you because these are a lot of our sponsors from today.
Jen Adelaide, Shed King, 40 winks no longer for your some of those cheeky drinks if you're feeling like it, before or after the game, depending what type of person you are. Maygain Real Estate, Down South Cleaning, Bob French Air Conditioning, and of course GLR Electrical.
There's a couple of other people we'd like to thank before we sign off, Indy.
Yes, thank you so much to our production team, James Moody's, always James Patzel and Hugo Winter. It's always a really nice opportunity to work with these people, and they do so much work behind the scenes going into weeks like this, going absolutely crazy, sometimes pulling their hair out to get these run sheets finished, to chase up sponsors and to get all of the technical equipment sorted. And it could be a very frustrating job, but I'm hoping that you and I can make them feel like the final result coming out of it makes them a little happier.
We talk about putting a pedometer on players. You might see some of the players today probably get around 10 to 15 kilometres done. I can tell you when I got here, James, like we mentioned a lot, but he's in a, he's shaking his head at the moment. But to understand, we have three cameras operating. We have a great producer here in Hugo as well. But James runs around. He would have done more kilometres than the players out there today, and his young son gets around as well and helps out with the cameras and everything. But to bring this production, it's a massive effort, so we'd like to thank James for everything that he does. He was up and down the wing here today probably 20 times as well, so magnificent effort without going on too much at the end here, but it is a team effort from all of us. Indy, what's happening, mate? We're just about ready to sign off, I'd suggest. I'll let you take it out.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you to Tony Neal. Definitely a heavy inspiration, and I, am very flattered when he compares me to Dennis Cometti, but I'm a very fair way off of that. And if Dennis, in the rare case that Dennis is watching, I'm sure he would be self-adamant of that. But I'm thankful for everyone in the production team. I'm thankful for Darkfish, and I'm obviously thankful that we've been able to film and commentate a game like this on Kaurna land, and we respect the custodians and traditions that they hold. So thank you to all watching. Tune into Between the Posts whenever during the week you feel like it, of course, but we provide division wrap-ups, summaries, interviews. It's really exciting stuff, and that's what it's all about, getting involved, interacting, the social side of it, but also we're very glad that we bring you some good coverage today, and we hope that we continue to improve on that in the future. But in the meantime, wherever you are across the nation, keep on kicking goals, as Jeff Pistols would say.
Takes the lead in the Coolmore. Crone draws clean out from Mizzy. It's a Queensland victory. And a big payday for his owners, winning the English Millennium in a romp.
But Ayrton the class, and Ayrton won the Victoria Handicap.
But Mahuda goes all the way. Where again, Mahuda. Classy for them. A blue ball. A Blue Star gets up the win.
But it's all glow. 100 metres to go. It's 6 lengths in front. This is an outstanding performance again. And Globe eased down, won the King's Coronation Cup in a can.